Welcome to Obstacle Running Adventures.
For the past 6 years, we have released weekly episodes
covering obstacle course racing,
road running, and other adventures.
You'll hear interviews,
event recaps,
conversations about our sport,
and quick news updates about the happenings in our community.
standing on the corner,
And now, here are your hosts.
lost all my clothes.
Michael Stefano and Caitlin Ritter.
Hey guys, it's Michael Stefano.
And Caitlin Ritter. And...
Timber.
Yep.
Timber's in here too. Caitlin, how was your weekend?
It was good. How was yours?
Pretty good. We were home in Massachusetts for the first time I've been home for a weekend in a bit. So that was nice. We cleaned the house.
What did we do Friday night?
Put away the Halloween decorations. I don't remember.
Oh, I took a nap and then we went to the gym.
Yeah, Caitlin's working out a lot, guys.
Caitlin has done a week's worth of World's Toughest Mudder workouts.
Yes. Also, real quick, talking about World's Toughest Mudder, I know last episode was really long, so I didn't want to have this in there, but I promised that I would talk about the whole ring situation.
What ring situation?
Exactly.
Somebody engaged?
No, my ring.
Oh my goodness gracious.
So, real quick, quick story time. I went to the airport. I always have problems with TSA, or they have problems with me. Regardless, problems are had between
It's
TSA
interesting. I've never had a problem with TSA, so I think it's a you thing.
Maybe. Anyway, the guy was just yelling at me for a variety of things. So I'm like, I'm just going to take off everything and put it through the metal detector, including my ring. And I went through, and the guy on the other side was like, hey, are you traveling alone? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, why? And then I was like in such a panic, and he was walking with me. He's like, follow me. And I had to go backwards through security. And he's like, there's water in your water bottle. And so I emptied it out. It was like a little bit, like maybe a cup of water in there. I thought I finished it. Anyway, all of those shenanigans and stuff made me forget that my ring was still in that. So it had gone missing. And I talked to somebody, and they told me to talk to somebody else. And then I talked to somebody else, and then I talked to somebody else. And then I kind of gave up hope.
And then they told you that your ring would be where? If it was found, where would they...
They said call like the state police in a few days. So I just went to the gate, had like a couple hours to spare, and I'm like, you know what, I'll just text my friend that works for TSA. And he's like, yeah, let me look into it. And they got it. But they got it like right while, just before they started boarding the plane. So I ran back to grab it. I eventually got it, and then I ran back, and I was exhausted. So that was my workout for that day.
Can we just talk about that? All this is happening while I'm teaching a classroom full of children, and my watch just keeps going off. It's like, updates. Lost my ring for reals this time. Oh, here it is. And I'm just like, oh, like the chaos was unfolding on my watch in the middle of my workday.
Yeah, I bet.
And then all of a sudden, I got a picture of you holding up a plastic bag with your ring in it.
All right, Kaylee, let's give a shout out to our sponsors.
Mudgear, use code ADVENTURE for 15% off your next Mudgear purchase. And Caterpie, use code OCRReport20 for 20% off your next Caterpie purchase.
Perfect. We're going to shout out the $5+ Patreon supporters.
Jason Dupree, Samantha Thompson, Dave Claxton, Bradley Keel, Charlotte Engelman, Aaron Grindstaff, Laura and Stephen Ritter, Hank and Arlene Stefano, Sofia Harnedy, Kenny West, Cheryl Miller, Jessica Johnson, Nick Riker, Christopher Hoover, Kevin Gregory Jr., Evan Irick, Brent George, Kevin Praytor, Wendell Agash, Logan Nagel, Patrick Brown, Asa Coddington, and Seth Rinderknecht.
Rinderknecht, I believe. But good job.
I'm going to say his last name probably different every single time I
believe it. And shout out to the OCR Report for being a great home for us on the internet.
And to Will Hicks,
the Podfather. Check it out over at theocrreport.com. And to our sponsored athletes, Javier Escobar, who isn't in this episode. No, I don't think he was on any of the episodes. Oh, ooh, next episode for a little bit, because I told him, hey, I want to talk to someone that actually ran it.
You told him that?
He was very drunk. I was very drunk. We both thought it was funny.
That's so fresh.
And to Kelly Sullivan, who just won an award made by Paul Jones. Did you see that?
No.
It was like a wooden weight, and she won like her age group. It was very cool. Ryan Brzezlara and Joshua Reed. So starting with quick news, starting with poll results. Caitlin, you did this one. So it said...
Is it too early to begin training for World's Toughest Mudder? 93 93% of people said, heck no, move your body. And 7% of people said too soon.
Yes, and it's actually funny. There was one person to account for the 7%. And
who was it?
I'm not going to shout him out, but he's someone that... it's just funny because I could picture him saying, like, too soon. Also, I put out a quiz of guess the length of our content for this episode. So I put out 1 hour, which was not the right answer, 1 hour 59 minutes, which was the right answer, and 2 hours 28 minutes, which was not the answer. So this one was a bit shorter, which worked out well because last one was very, very long, and I was worried that people would want to listen. But it's our second best episode so far this year, so much appreciate that. So the people that guessed correctly were Sofia Harnedy, Joe Rucco, Douglas Spalding, Corey Edwards, Sarah Tucker, Dustin Akey, Thomas Peterson, and James DeLory. All right, continuing on with news. Caitlin, do you want to give a shout out about the whole OCR Bunny Community Choice Awards or nominations?
OCR Buddy took over Mud Run Guide's the Best of OCR Community Choice Award.
All right, Tough Mudder released the fact that there are going to be medals for next year, which a lot of people were up in arms about, but this is in addition to the headbands.
Right, like they're not mutually exclusive.
Yeah.
You can have one with the other.
And you know what? I don't really do anything with my headbands. I'm looking around trying to figure out where they are. I think I definitely have them somewhere. And I have some pretty cool ones too, a couple World's Toughest Mudder and everything, but it's the medals that I really hang up.
I will be wearing my World's Toughest Mudder headbands until I die.
Forever.
Yeah. I'd like it to be on me when I'm buried in the ground.
Bold of you to assume that you're going to earn it.
You don't think I'll earn it?
I do.
Bold of you to assume I might not earn it.
Just don't count your chickens before they hatch, I guess. It has finally been announced, the whole Tough Mudder Saudi Arabia Infinity prize payout. I heard the numbers, and they change again. So here we are, Caitlin.
That is so much money.
Mm-hmm.
Third place will get 16,000. Is it US dollars?
I should know this, and I'm not entirely sure. I believe so.
Okay. Third place will get $16,000. Second place will get $32,000. And first place will get $80,000.
Yeah, and it pays down to 10th. And then there's also 9 age group winners who will be getting $3,750 each. So, I mean, teams are paying out. It's
that first place person is making more than like an average teacher's salary.
Yeah, links down below. So
embarrassing.
Links down below to learn a little bit more about all of these news stories, including this one, which is super touchy, but we're still going to have to touch on it. But Joe DeSena posted a video that was, I don't know. He's getting very political again, guys. Someone's gotta put a muzzle on this guy. Advocating for one side of, one of the three big wars going on right now. And people from the other side aren't very happy. So I guess you can just read what Inside OCR posted.
Inside OCR said, the real Joe DeSena has had a busy 24 hours after signing a deal to keep the Spartan World Championship in the Middle East for the next several years. He thought it would be a good idea to post the above video seemingly in support of Israel's actions over the last few weeks.
Yeah, so, Oof. Yeah, there's a lot to it, but it's bad. It's bad picking. It's bad.
He also deleted the video, it looks like, and issued an apology.
Yes, which I will say that much is smart. But the smartest thing you can do is just nothing at all in that situation, yeah. So next up we have a new 50-mile world record set by Charlie Lawrence. He finished it in 4 hours, 48 minutes, and 21 seconds, which is insane. He says, I am taking this shit over. And it seems like he is. Caitlin, you found this one just before recording.
Leon Kofold posted, today on International Men's Day, let's break the silence surrounding men's mental health. My dad battled mental health issues in silence and was lost to suicide when I was 12. It was always a mystery to me why, but the older I get, the more I understand him. It is a little scary, to be honest. I actually don't enjoy posting about this, especially on a day like today. Mental health is a 365 days a year thing, not a one-day event, but we also can't talk about our trauma every single day or we'll be stuck in it. But now is always better than never, so here we are.
Yeah, appreciate him being vocal in that. Next up, I can't list all of them because, dear God, there are so many. but links down below to hear about the DECA World Championship qualifiers. So this is for the DECA Fit, DECA Mile, DECA Strong, and the DECA Fit Go Ruck version for the men and women. It has all of them listed below. I think the USA report really outdid themselves with announcing all that. Lots of posts there. And we're going to wrap up with some podiums.
The South Carolina Ultra Men's Podium in third place, Salomir Ochab. In second place, Mark Sawicki. And in first place, Brian Beal II. And for the women's podium in third place, Mary Girth. In second place, Yara Alves. And in first place, Hannah Francesca.
Did I tell you who Mary Girth is? I sent you a thing. No. We found out who it is.
Oh, who is it?
It is Scott the Fane, I believe. Scott the Fane Knowles' really good friend, Michael Robinson, who he calls Bitch Muffin. It's who he recently married.
Oh.
So.
Congratulations. The South Carolina Beast Men's Podium in third place, Samuel Harris. In second place, Gideon Wilson. And in first place, Dustin Rudder. And for the ladies, in third place, Elizabeth Wilson. In second place, Rachel Waters. And in first place, Jordan Housleden.
Yeah, so I'm going to say that. There we go.
And the Phoenix Beast Men's Podium, in third place, Eric Harris. In second place, Juan Rocha. And in first place, Jeff Shady. And for the women, in third place, Sierra Perez. In second place, Chloe Milkian. And in first place, Rachel Munoz.
Nice. And I believe we're going to skip Meme of the Week because this is still going to be a longer episode. But there are 5 secret links, so go down and check those out. Let's get to what this episode's all about. So this is part 2 of our World's Toughest Mudder coverage. So this one's focused on the brunch. So please go back and check out episode 1 if you want to hear the community dinner or event day audio and interviews. It's a long episode, but it's really good, if I do say so myself. And I heard some good feedback, so thank you.
I thought it was good.
Thank you. So again, it's not as long as last episode, but still feel free to skip past a section if you're not interested in it. So the first section is before the TMHQ presentation. So there's 1 hour of that. And those interviews are with Visit Granbury, Nick Artis, and Jason Helmstadter, Matt Gill, Brittany Hall, Evan Perperis, Miranda Huber, Matt B. Davis, Ernie Cheatham, Lone Star IV Medics, a brief time when my mic got hijacked, Sofia Harnedy, Kevin Praytor, Hannah Carta, Stefanie Bishop, and Orion James. And then you'll hear the TMHQ presentation. I narrowed it down to 38 minutes, which took a lot of work, but hope you guys enjoy that. If not, feel free to skip that. And then there's interviews after the TMHQ presentation, which is 21 minutes of that. And that is with Michael Schjott, or Schjott, Michael Schjott.
Michael Scott.
Yeah. Joe Rucco, Coach Kyle Railton, Chris Maltbie, and Jen Mizono. So hope you guys enjoy this. Let's get to the second episode of our 3-part World's Toughest Mudder coverage.
Woo!
We'll just start off with your name and where you're from.
I'm Rhiannon Crump Moline. I just got married, and thank you. And we are here in Granbury.
And what are you here representing?
We are representing the city of Granbury. So Visit Granbury is the Convention and Visitors Bureau for the city of Granbury, and we're just here to welcome all of the amazing athletes and their families.
Well, let me tell you, we felt very welcome. This is actually probably one of my first times ever to Texas, and it has been a really good time. So tell me a little bit, what is so special about Granbury?
Well, we're really well known for our history. We actually voted Best Historic Small Town in America 3 years in a row. And from here, you can actually see our little courthouse, bell tower out there. So that's like the hub of our little historic downtown area. We also were just named the celebration capital of Texas. So we love to celebrate. We have festivals all year round, and people come here for weddings and family reunions, and basically any celebration, big or small, Granbury's the place to be.
That's pretty fantastic. So I'm from the Northeast, where states are small. So it's one thing to be like, the place that's known for this, but in Texas, that's a much bigger deal. Literally, right?
Yeah, everything's bigger in Texas.
And so what are all these these sponsors and stuff that you have behind you? What's that?
So we had to do a commitment in order to bring the event to Granbury, and so we are a small town, and so all of these businesses helped us raise the money to get that commitment to bring them here for the first 3 years. This is the third year.
Awesome. Do you want to shout some of them out? I know them.
Sure. So we've got the Granbury Chamber of Commerce, Hilton Garden Inn. We've got Oakdale Park, which is an RV park down in Glen Rose. They're really great partners. Hood County News, Revolver Brewing, Hotel Lucy, Waste Connections did all the trash. Off the Vine RV Park is also down towards the Glen Rose area. The 2 radio stations, Hank FM and the Ranch Radio. City of Crescent also partnered with us. And then La Quinta, the Granbury Square, which is our historic Granbury Merchants Association, so the Downtown Association, and Comfort Suites, as well as the City of Granbury in general.
Nice. So I'm assuming, do you live in Granbury too, or just a big fan?
I actually commute in every day.
Okay. So what do you like about this area, though? Like, what makes you work for this kind of group?
I love a small town that has it together. They know what it takes to really thrive. And obviously Granbury is thriving. They're huge supporters of tourism, but they're also huge supporters of each other. So like the businesses are always referring one another. And it really makes for a really tight-knit community.
Yeah. What do you know, pressure? What do you know about this event that happened here this weekend?
Oh gosh, so we know it's an international event. Yes. I know we had like 800 runners plus their posses and families, and so a couple thousand probably people here, and we just wanted to welcome everybody and let them know how much we appreciate the presence. And we recognize the impact events like this have on our town, and we just wanted to show our appreciation.
It's a big deal because it'll go down in history. Like, it was in New Jersey for a while, then it went to Vegas, and we'll always remember the time that's in every place. But Texas, I think, definitely stood out too. It was a warm year compared to previous years too.
Well, that's the greatest thing is like even in November in Texas, it's still relatively warm compared to the rest of the country. Of course, we have our cold snaps this time of year, and the weather's a little bipolar, but we're used to that here anyway.
Awesome. And then any final thoughts on how do you feel how successful it was?
Oh, it was definitely successful. We were saying hi to families early last week, and the staff has been great, and we just love seeing them on the square and just enjoying our little downtown area. It's so beautiful down there, and to see the crowds down there on a weekday is great.
Yeah, I've been pretty busy doing media coverage and everything, but I'm hoping to have some more free time and really enjoy what Granbury has to offer. So thanks so much for being out here, and thanks for welcoming us.
Thank you.
Nick Artis. I'm from Springboro, Ohio.
I'm Jason Helmstadter from Madison, Wisconsin.
Awesome. And what did you do for this weekend at World's Oldest Mother?
What did I do, or how many miles did I run? Because I ran 50 miles. I underachieved my goals, but I was dealing with a hip injury and kind of went out there and just kept pushing.
What were your goals out there?
To at least hit 75, because I've hit it 2 years in a row.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, I wanted a third in a row.
Now you have something to come back for. That's fine. What did you do out there?
I was a participant this year. The last 4 years, I've actually been the finish line MC.
Okay.
So I was.
Thought I recognized you.
I appreciate that. So I came back to participate. I had some goals. My first goal for me is always upright and out of the medical tent. Unfortunately, I was in the medical tent, but I got out another lap in the morning. So didn't achieve my mileage goals, but I still feel happy with what I got to do and the people I got to do it with, which I think is indicative of pretty much anybody here.
Yeah. What was the medical complication? I'm sure it wasn't like hypothermia like I dealt with in Atlanta. But.
No, not hypothermia. For me, I have a history of kidney issues.
Okay.
Rhabdo sets in, and fortunately for me, I recognize my symptoms much earlier on than I used to.
Yeah.
So I'm able to be somewhat preventative if I can get out of my own way, because your goal to achieve a certain distance or stay out there for 25 and a half hours can sometimes overpower that necessity to say, hey, let me step back a little bit.
Yeah. And how long have you been in the Tough Mudder community? What drew you to all this?
I started my first Tough Mudder in May 2014 back in Ohio, and I've been doing them ever since. It was a good opportunity for me to get back in shape and enjoy, outdoor obstacles and running, and it's turned me into an endurance runner and a pretty strong athlete. And I've met so many wonderful, fantastic people like Jason here that I get to spend time with. So
you said you've gotten 75 sequentially before. Did you get anything? Did you get 75 in your first try, or?
My first 2 attempts, I got 50 miles each. Those were Las Vegas in 2017, and then the very, very cold year in Atlanta.
Yes.
And then the following year, I got 60.
Okay.
And then I hit 75 twice after that.
Yeah, that's what I like to hear. It shows that growth can happen. And just an off year, there's nothing wrong with that, too. Do you think it was like the heat? What affected you the most this year?
Just my hip mostly.
Okay.
Yeah, the heat was brutal, but I've dealt with heat issues before. The course in Laughlin, Nevada, that I had the same kind of heat issues. It was hot during the day, but once the sun goes down, you can kind of recover. But yeah, it was just the hip issue. It's painful to run on, and it's nothing permanent or serious. It's just I need to rest, and it was hard to rest leading into Worlds. You have to keep training. So
you said you've worked events. Is that how you first came to know Tough Mudder, or what's your origin story?
No, I did my first Tough Mudder back in Wisconsin. I forget the venue, but it was in 2011.
Okay.
And
me. Yeah.
very, very back when it brand new still, somewhat getting outside into the New Jersey area. And then I dabbled around in the upper Midwest. And it wasn't until after I had my first, or actually my second incident with Rhabdo, which was 2019 in Toughest Philly, that there was a search for a new finish line MC for some of the endurance events. And so with some other mudders supporting me and formerly Kyle, and so they brought me aboard, and I did the endurance events through the COVID times and up until last year, and then this year I decided I wanted to participate.
And how did it feel to make that jump? Because announcing is an endurance event in itself, but obviously this is a little different, huh?
It is. When me and Sean and Clinton are at that finish line, it is, we can feed off of each other. And, this year was the first year that it was just Clinton. And that's a very different dynamic, and it's a huge task for him. And I found myself checking in with him quite frequently just to make sure he was doing all right, giving him some energy, hopefully. But it is a different animal coming back to this side. But I enjoyed it. And seeing people who somewhat recognize me, because I'm kind of the quiet one, or the one that's not so well known, because all of my events are done in the dark.
Right.
And they don't see my face a lot.
That's
so
right. Yeah. And then final thoughts on the weekend.
I think the weekend was great. It was awesome to see people accomplishing goals that they set out. People fighting through adversity, because a lot of people had issues, and it was enjoyable to see them go back out there and just fight. Yeah. A lot of tears shed, a lot of laughter. So I think that energy from the community is just so impactful and so meaningful.
You bet. For me, I got to bring a friend along, and this was her first Worlds. In fact, she's only done a couple of Tough Mudders, and she's a phenomenal athlete, and she put herself out there. She spent a lap with Nick, and I don't think she realizes how strong she is. And so I look forward to seeing what happens for her in the future. But I got to pit amongst some of my closest friends, and we had a good group of people that just, okay, if you're ready to go, let's all go. And we keep pushing each other. Or we go find somebody else who's having a struggle, and let's take them back out on course. So it was, while I wish I didn't have my medical issues, I wouldn't change anything about the event.
Awesome. Well, thanks for taking the time to talk to me, guys.
All right, thank you.
Hi, my name's Matt Gill. I'm from Binghamton, New York.
And how did you do this weekend?
So got 90 miles. Really happy with that. Yep. Ended up, goal was originally 100, so not still upset though by that. I mean, doing 90 was super, super stacked for me, given last year I did 55, and with really, really long sleep at night. So last year not more. So really happy with the results this year. So.
What did you think about the course overall?
I actually really loved it. It was one of those, like, looking ahead, like, I'm not a great cold weather runner, at least yet. And so knowing it was in Texas, looking at some of the terrain maps and stuff like that ahead of time, I knew, like, hey, as long as it's not just going to be like constant mud pits, like over long running sections, this is going to be a really sweet opportunity for me, because I'm more of a runner than an obstacle guy. So that was really great.
How did you do in terms of obstacle completion? Because the penalties out there were a doozy.
They were. So initially I was doing well. My arms got a little bit gassed earlier than I would have liked them to, or I was slipping off of like Spunky Monkey a little bit. So even though like the penalties, some of them really sucked, the fact that they were just runs for the most part made me pretty happy. Luckily, I didn't have to do the grappler one, which I think was like the longest one.
3/4 of a mile.
Yeah, luckily was really good at that obstacle, so didn't have an issue. But anytime there's just, I think it was Spunky Monkey, the last grip one right before Mutterhorn, I can't remember the name, but the grip rig right by the finish line, hanging rough. So I did that one a couple times, Spunky Monkey a couple times, and I also did the little sand bucket carry out by the dingleberries. Yeah, and overall, I ran those, but like again, I enjoy the run part, so that wasn't really too difficult. It's just a time add for me, which was good.
So fun fact, the original original penalty for that was terrible.
Really?
It was where you're supposed to weigh the bucket and it was supposed to be exactly 5 pounds.
Yeah.
They only brought 2 scales, so it lasted very short duration of time.
Yeah. Yeah, no, when I was kind of really nervous about that when I saw what that one was, because they had the dingleberry thing last year, and it was just like a cup thing. I'm like, oh, okay, like, it was a time killer, but it was like, wasn't bad. But then I saw you had to carry and have it like perfectly weighed too. I was like, oh no. And then I saw how big the loop was. I was really like, this is really going to kill my race. And then as soon as I think when I came into it and I saw that they were just like telling you like, just fill it up and run. I was like, okay, we can handle this one. And honestly, like the loop, I think that loop was one of the shorter penalties. So, and it was a light carry, so it wasn't too bad. So
it's good because there were a lot of like international people here, obviously, which is a good thing. But they don't know what 5 pounds is.
No, I agree. Yeah, so I was nervous, and then even cognitively like thinking about like would I be able to know exactly what that was at that point. So
I saw some people before they changed it were doing like 3 laps trying to get it right. So like that could add up.
Oh, so bad. Yeah. So I'm happy. TMHQ adjusts on the fly, continues to make the race like really good as the race goes on. So yeah.
And then we talked a little bit about Noob Sanity before we started recording, but thoughts on hopefully more people next year?
100%. Yeah, actually. So I'm glad things went. I'm really happy things went really well this year. Really grateful for my support crew, like Brian coming from Noob Sanity as well, and my friend Nate from college track at Binghamton. So, but next year it's like because of how fun this year looked, everyone had like a huge FOMO that we're going to have a lot of people, I think, next year. Everyone's stoked, so really excited for next year.
Well, you represented them well. What do you think it's going to take for you to take the step to get to 100? Because 90 is phenomenal.
Thank you. So, it was a goal this year. I ran with Joe for quite a while. Him and I went into this together. Joe, who got third. Him and I said we're both going to push for this, and he had it in him really strong. It was him all the way through. And when for me, it's still like those like witching hours, like real early in the morning. Unfortunate for my crew, I thought I would be able to pass the mental checkpoint. They knew that I probably couldn't. I just got really drowsy and sleepy, and I guess stumbling a bit. So took an hour nap and.
You got 90 miles with an hour now.
Yeah, I think they did the math. I think I had like what, 2.5?
It was 2:21. 2:21 is a good time.
So I think overall I had like 3.5 hours of just not moving. That I think that can make up for it. Because of that rest, I was moving really quick in the morning. But I think if I can just work on those morning hours better, I think we can make it happen. But then again, like I love this course. I know some people have some issues with the penalties and stuff like that, but like I think it was a really solid one once I kind of got the flow of the penalties. So hoping for a really, really awesome course next year, and let's keep going for that orange. It's not over till we get it.
And shout out again to Brian. He's a good pit crew when he immediately pulls up to pit time. He knows exactly what he's doing.
Yeah. Brian. I can't thank him enough. My whole crew, and then other group, Joe's crew was really nice too. That we were kind of like had the same pits right next to each other. Yeah, everyone was great, and we're keeping the analytics really good like throughout the whole night, and it was perfect to know that like, hey, you got 2 guys in front of you that you could potentially catch if you can drop another 65 on this lap. So it's like, all right, let's go hunt them down. So that was really great to have. You as much as like you think it's you that's going through the work, like between this, I did an ultra this summer with Brian and Jarrett Newby as well. It was a 100-miler, and it was just one of those like I wouldn't have been able to complete it. Like you think that you can, and without a solid pit crew, you can't. So I don't know. I think it'd be a fun WTM to one year see if people want to do like a through hike version where you can only carry, no pit, only carry what you can. Maybe that would be the next challenge. That would be fun, yeah. So, but no, really grateful for everyone. Grateful for media, everyone out there's coverage. I got people at home that love seeing everything on the OCR report. So thankful for everybody and everything this weekend. It was a great event.
Great to see you as always, man.
Mike, same to you, man. Thank you. Yeah. Catch you around.
You beaten
Brittany Hall, Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
And how was your night last night?
I had so much fun here. It was great. It was a good night.
I went to do an interview with you during the event, and I saw this little unicorn horn poking out of like a blanket.
I have it on right now too, so everyone can recognize me.
I don't know, just like, what do you enjoy most about this event?
Honestly, the course was amazing. It was really friendly for spectators, and just last year I felt like it was really difficult to get out on the course and actually like see some of the obstacles. The live stream in the starting corral was amazing. It was so great. Yeah, just all of it. So much fun. Being here to crew for my friend Gary, the highlight of my life, to be honest.
And he's not one that like you feel like you have to push to get back out there. I know he didn't go back out there, but he was just out there for good vibes, right?
Yeah, exactly. He was unsure of what his goal was going to be this year, so we were kind of just winging it, seeing how he felt. Some of his times were faster than the past years that he did, so he said it was a pretty fast course, I guess. Yeah. But Yeah, I forget what the question was, but I can keep talking.
And what about the weather, too? Because you're from the Michigan area, too, right?
Pennsylvania. So, yeah, no, the weather, it got a little bit cold when the sun went down, but like low 50s, so it was totally doable. I stole Gary's dry robe and made him lay on the cold ground, so I was warm and comfy the whole night.
Who says chivalry isn't dead?
Yeah, exactly.
And what do you have planned for events for yourself coming up?
Oh my gosh, nothing. Well, I agreed to do like a High Rocks or Deca with Matt at some point, so probably more of like the hybrid fitness racing. Yeah. I'm a little bit burnt out on OCR at this point and just ultras in general, kind of. So the shorter, sweeter strength training type stuff is going to be right up my alley.
But you coming out to World Toughest Mudder also shows that there's more ways to enjoy a course too, helping other people as well.
Yeah, absolutely. The pit crew here was just phenomenal, like everybody. The vibes in the festival area were immaculate.
Well, great seeing you.
Yeah, good seeing you too. See ya.
Evan Perperis, originally from New York. I live in Manhattan, Kansas now.
How did your World Toughest Mudder go for you?
It's solid. I got 80 miles. I usually get around 90, but I'm sure we'll talk about the penalties were long. The obstacles were super hard, so I ended up, running closer to my normal distance. Because normally I don't fail on any obstacles, so I don't, I can cover 90 miles, yeah.
So what stands out to you for some like the hardest obstacles that are out there in the course?
Dingleberries was really hard. That was the cargo net traverse. I thought it was about twice as long as it probably should have been. Funky Monkey was hard the way they had initially set up because you'd get mud all over your hands. I come in with dry hands because I'm very diligent about that. But by the time you got to the monkey bars, your hands were covered in mud because everyone's using their legs on the ropes. Yeah. So, in concept, I like harder obstacles, and in concept, I like longer penalties. Wasn't crazy about the way it was executed for this one, but to me, it's a good sign that you're going in the right direction. I think we overcorrected in some aspects for this one, but I like the direction we're heading in.
Some obstacles had really difficult penalties, others had easier ones. Like Dingleberries, the penalty started off insanely hard, well, pretty damn hard, and then it got a lot easier, but some penalties were super hard.
Yeah, I mean, most of the ones I did were basically pure running and some menial task halfway through that was relatively quick.
What about the grappler? How did you end up doing with that? No, you were a little worried about that?
I did it okay a couple of times, and then as I fatigued, I don't know, I guess my form went to trash, so I got worse. So I ended up using bands on a bunch of it just because I couldn't. The obstacle attendant was like, after you fail, you can't give him a band and then bypass. Which, as far as I know, that's never been a rule, but that's the rule. So that's what I was following his directions, and I stopped taking the risk. So I ended up using bands on that, and Funky Monkey was the two I used most bands on.
I hope that's a rule because it sounds like a gray area that might have not been addressed. Did they say that in the briefing, or did the volunteer say that?
A volunteer said that. But my understanding is the band gets you to bypass the penalty or the obstacle. It doesn't matter if I attempt it first because I can reattempt. So.
And that was a lot. Was that the worst penalty? Because I had to drive to the end of that penalty.
For distance, I think that was the longest penalty, but I didn't do every penalty, so I don't know about some of the other ones.
I heard it was like 3/4 of a mile, and at the furthest end, I saw there was like a little bit of a swampy section.
Right. Yeah.
And how did the heat play a factor in the race?
You have to be diligent about hydration, and I feel like when there's a lot of heat, I have trouble consuming as many calories. I think it has to do with blood going to my body to cool down and not going to my stomach. So I reduced the amount of calories I took in, which I learned from Laughlin. I didn't throw up in Laughlin, but I started feeling a little nauseous, so I could feel that coming in now, and I knew the signs of it, so I kind of scaled back ahead of time.
And then you also had some teammates out there too. What did you think about Miranda Huber? It was a great interview that you did beforehand, having them on. How proud are you?
Well, I haven't gotten a full rundown of her race, but I know she got her brown bib, which was her goal. So super happy to see that. And my other teammate on the Mudgear Hannibal Race Pro team, Jenny Overstreet, another top 10 finish for her, and she did 80 miles as well. So,
yeah, to my knowledge, when I saw Miranda, when she finished 45, she was like, I don't know if I'm going to get back out there. And I was a little nervous because she had plenty of time, and it sounds like AC kicked her to the curb and said, get your ass back out there.
Good, yeah. Just like a good pit crew should.
And thoughts on this being your last independence?
Yeah. Yes, I last individual elite. I just there's nothing to do with the course. Just after 9, some of the individual elite magic has worn off for me, and there are every race you're gonna have low moments and parts where you're not feeling good or you're like kind of unhappy. I would say for like 95% of this race, 95% of the toughest, and 95% of Infinity this year, I was just like not really having fun and doing it because it's part of who I am. So next year, I think I'll be back at World's Toughest next year. I may be on a team. I might be doing media if someone will have me.
That's why I love most of it. It's so much fun. I don't think I'd ever go back to World's Toughest Mudder. I still got a lot of mileage, but...
Or I might do, if things pan out, I would be interested in like going for a sprint lap and then helping out the Everest Angels because they were grossly undermanned this year, and Francis and his team up there, which was like 1 or 2 other people, did a disproportionately large amount of work.
I feel bad because I only see them once a year, and I obviously remember Francis because he has a big-ass flower that he carries around, but I don't recognize the other guys, so I always try to get them on the show.
I'm terrible with all the names. I've had them all on my podcast, and I still can't remember all their names, and they change out too, so...
And it's also tough when you only see them when it's super dark out, like, okay, I don't know what you look like, actually.
Yeah. So, JVT, Joe Van Tassel's up there a lot of times, but there's other dudes up there also with big beards, so sometimes I get confused.
More defining characteristic, guys. Come on, you got to work on that.
Yeah, everyone needs like a shtick, like something to make them stand out, right?
So, pivoting, like, what do you plan to do, like, athletically? Because I feel like you're very drawn to doing difficult things. What are you interested in now?
So I'm doing a lot of martial arts. As I've scaled back, or I haven't scaled back the OCR at all. As I get ready to scale back the OCR, I'm ramping up some of the martial arts training, and I'm not going to be a competitive MMA fighter or anything like that. I enjoy the training. It's something difficult. I put a lot of as an athlete, I put a lot of self-pressure on myself to perform, especially in ultra distance obstacle course racing, which I consider my primary sport. So I like doing something that I essentially can be terrible at. And I'm not terrible, but I'm not, there's still a huge chasm of knowledge and learning that I have ahead of me. So, yeah, mostly martial arts related stuff.
And final thoughts on this year's World's Toughest Mudder?
Good. It's World's Toughest Mudder, so it's always great. I do have a lot of, as someone who's been around for my 9th World's Toughest Mudder, I have a lot of critiques. I'll probably share them on the Strength and Speed podcast, but it's all from a place of love, and I like some of the direction we're heading. I thought some of the execution was a little bit off, and I thought normally a lot of before every race, it is a disaster behind the scenes. Every OCRWC, I've watched them. I saw Marco Bedard the morning of OCRWC one year eating breakfast because he had just finished building an obstacle. So that's normal. It's usually not transparent to the racer. It was transparent this year, and I know there's a lot of issues traveling, like weather, there's a lot of issues, but it made me feel uneasy when I'm doing the sprint lap and they're building multiple obstacles. But, at the end of the day, it didn't affect the actual race course. So I guess at the end of the day, it's not a big deal, but as an athlete, I'm running and there's like cranes on the course building. It was slightly concerning. And if some of the obstacles, I felt like they had not tested them. Did you hear about when the operation opened, there was no hooks on the poles?
There wasn't hooks on the pole. Wait, they eventually put hooks on the poles?
They put like a nail on the pole, so it acted as a hook, yeah.
So when I was there for like 15 minutes to a half hour. I just thought they were like, oh, it's just poles this year. So
when it first opened, it was just poles. I got shocked maybe 3 times. Still got it. It was very difficult. And then they added the nail, which was, it's like, all right, this is the way it's always been. I don't know why we changed it. So it was nice to see them make that on-the-fly adjustment, and I'd like to see them do that more for some of the obstacles. If you're on an obstacle and no one's doing it for hours, or like one person's doing it, like maybe it's time to make the obstacle easier so people will start doing the obstacle again. This is an obstacle course race, right? If you make the obstacle so hard, and if you make the obstacle so hard, it just turns into a penalty off, right? Which I think what happened this year, Evan's personal opinion.
Well, great seeing you as always.
Yeah, good seeing you, Mike.
Miranda from Fort Worth, Texas.
And how was your first World's Toughest Mudder?
It was great. I had an awesome experience.
What did you think about the course out there? I know you said you've raced in Granbury in the past, being from Texas.
Yeah, Terrain was as expected because I'm a local. I think I've run at that venue before, so nothing too surprising as far as like all the cactus and the rockiness and the muddiness. All that's kind of par for the course. I guess I was a little disappointed with the, in comparison to the penalties that I've seen in prior years, that these all seem to be more just like a penalty loop. There was one where you carried a bucket. There was one where you like had to find the nickel in the quarter, but that honestly people were just throwing them in the bucket and then it was right on top. So it was primarily just penalty loops. I guess what I had seen of World's Toughest is that the penalties had like a funny experience to them, and that wasn't my experience. But overall, I was really happy with the course. There were a lot of really hard grip obstacles, which in the middle of the night I didn't appreciate, but then in the morning, once you had the sun, just like my hands and the obstacles would dry from the mud, so then I was able to complete stuff, and then that was a really rewarding feeling to know you didn't have to do this long penalty. So I guess, yeah.
So I know you said you tackled an ultra before, but have you ever done like an overnight obstacle course race, anything that had like that night aspect of it?
No. So this is my longest official race completion distance in general. One time I did try for a 100-miler and I DNF'd at 70 miles, and that was approximately 24 hours. So I've gone for 24 hours overnight before in a 100-miler race. So a little bit different, but still I had that experience of going overnight. Now that I've gone overnight for a second time, I do know that I don't necessarily enjoy the overnight, but I love the noon to noon, that being the 24 hours, finishing in the daylight is so nice. Yeah.
I saw you a few times out on course. One of the times that was concerning, I think you had finished 45 miles. And I'm like, all right, you're going to go back out for 50? And you're like, nah. And I couldn't tell if that was like just your personality about it, like you're just kind of making a joke, or if you were serious, or like mildly concerned. What was going through your head?
My lap 9 was really, really bad. So I almost fainted a couple times because I think of lack of nutrition. In the 2 laps prior to that, I had trouble consuming enough calories. And it got to the point where, like, I think also, like, going through the night with the headlamp, I don't know, I was having trouble focusing on my spotlight, and the headlamp was almost making my eyes do the shifty thing. Yeah, so when I came in from lap 9, I was open to another lap. So what I had told my pit crew is, right now it's not safe for me to do another lap. Like, medical is going to pull me if I try. But if I can fuel and take in some calories, I will do another. But that's, when you saw me, that was the stance that I was in, is that right now it is not safe for me to go out. But if I can spend time in the pit and do what I need to do, I'll do another.
And spoiler alert, you fucking did it. How does it feel?
Yes, oh my god, I did it. I met my goal. It feels amazing. Like, there's just this high of, and the whole experience for me was so good. I had that one bad lap, but other than that, so 9 out of 10 laps felt amazing. I felt good. Every time somebody asked me how I was feeling, I said, I feel great. I'm having fun. I was smiling. And honestly, all of this is from, like, seeing Chris's, race from last year and seeing all the video footage of her always smiling, always saying she's feeling good, saying she's having fun, all that sort of stuff. I took that like really to heart, and that was my mentality going into this race, is take on the Chris mentality. Even if you're not feeling good, tell yourself you feel good. And honestly, it, like, I think mentally, even though like physically I wasn't feeling perfect, the more times I said I was feeling good because people asked, the better I felt, like, every time.
Did you tell Chris that yet?
I haven't told her. I did post about it on Facebook. I don't know if she's seen it, but I definitely am going to give her that feedback, that, like, that is, like, that's what it takes, like, and that's all it takes. Like, mentally be in a positive place, and you're going to do what you set out to do. Yeah.
So, you think you'll ever do something like this again?
Normally, after an endurance event, my thought is, like, no, never again, right? I already don't feel like that. I feel like, yes, I would do it again. I had fun. I want to push myself. That, like, just the rewarding feeling of finishing and meeting my goal and knowing that I went all night and I did everything that I could. Yes, I would do it again.
And then what did you think about the community? Because there's nothing quite like a World's Toughest community helping you out and everything out there.
So Tough Mudder always has the camaraderie, and the obstacles require teamwork. So I was super appreciative, and I love and can't imagine the people that volunteer at the obstacles. So Everest Angels and the Mudderhorn, what do you call those guys? The Men of Mudderhorn?
Yeah, I've heard of it, yeah.
Okay. And at Dublin Walls. Okay, so those people were there at those obstacles.
They paid for their race. That's the crazy thing.
Yeah, that is insane.
And they just stay there and help out. Like, that's... I don't think everyone realized that. I'll probably say it in a few more interviews, but it's amazing to me.
Yeah, I did not know that. I thought they were kind of more like volunteers, where like they're looking for people to do that. But so I love those guys, so grateful for them, and I don't want to say anything negative against that, but I would say that, like, the slight disappointment I had is that because those guys were all there, again, amazing, I didn't really have to help a whole lot of people, or there weren't a whole lot of opportunities to help each other on course, with the exception of those obstacles where there were people there dedicated. And also maybe being a smaller, petite woman, like on Everest, one time I turned around and was like, I want to help y'all. Like, I want to, reward and give back because y'all helped me. And it's a bunch of big guys at the bottom. I'm like, I want to help, but physically I don't think I can pull up that guy. So, yeah, I wish there were just a few more opportunities for me to give back to the community.
All right, well, congratulations, and I'll see you around.
Cool. Thanks, Steph. Mike Stefano.
You're good.
Maltbie Davis, Atlanta, Georgia. I was just telling Mike that I said, Mike, let's capture this moment. Being on the course. No. As if files are, like, expensive or something.
No. So here's the thing. I already have, like, as is, I already started editing. I have, like, 40 minutes done. This episode's going to be, like, 3 hours long. And for part one, there's going to be 3 parts. It's just my OCD. It's a whole bunch of things.
Okay, but I just thought, yes, Matt, I'll record you, my old friend.
I wanted to have you on, but like for the bar crawl or the brunch. And here we are.
Okay, well, here we are. Hi, Mike.
How was your World Surface Mudder?
Well, it's still happening. It doesn't end until, like, you get home, because this is all part of it. Yeah. People come up and say nice things to you, or you just have a hug, or the last moment. Sean Rombaugh just told me that even after listening to me for the last 5 years, he still waited too long to put on his wetsuit, which is hilarious. So, yeah, it's still happening. We're going to do awards. Something cool will happen. I might cry. You might cry.
Yeah. Fun fact? You want to hear a fun fact?
Yes.
I did cry yesterday. Yeah.
What got you?
So, Josh Fiore crossed at the finish line 4th. I haven't talked to him about it, but I'm pretty sure he thought he was in 3rd, and like when he was passed, he didn't realize it. Anyway, his goal this year is to get a World Surface Mudder podium, and he's also been talking about how he thinks this might be his last individual World Surface Mudder. So I was a little upset. Nothing against the 3rd place guy. I'm looking forward to talking to him.
Right, he didn't know he got placed. Yeah, he got passed on the last lap by Michael Schjott.
No, Michael got 2nd.
Who was 3rd? Oh my God. We already forgot.
I know.
It hasn't even been a day.
Specifically what? I can't think of it.
Would you like me to pull up the stats while we're talking?
Please do. But
keep going.
It felt very much like when Javier took 4th and DJ Fox took 3rd. There's a part of me that says, fuck DJ. I didn't know him. I love him now. I love everybody. But I love Javier that much.
Right.
Josh, I love him too. He lives very close to me. We see each other occasionally. He's a great dude. And so I'm pulling for him. I know we're supposed to be somewhat unbiased because we're media. But first and foremost, we're human. We have the people we really love.
And the sport is too small.
And we got good people. So I teared up a little bit. And I had sunblock on my eyelid, and it got in my eye, and the whole time. It was both. But
Joseph Rucco.
Thank you.
Joe Rucco came in 3rd.
And again, nothing against you, Joe. I'm sure you're an awesome guy. Very excited for you. His first 100-mile World Surface Mudder finish. Do you know if he's done World Surface Mudder before?
Joe Rucco?
Yeah.
No, he told me it was his first one. So the 3rd place. Amazing. So Stefanie Bland, 3rd place woman, and Joseph Rucco, 3rd place. The 3rd place man and woman, both, it was their first WTM.
Love that. And it was actually really fun seeing Stefanie with her kids, too, in the picture. I'm sure you got a video of that, too. Very sweet to see, like, a family ordeal.
Yeah, it was, pretty awesome.
So what did you think overall, this World Surface Mudder compared to other ones? I know it's still not over yet, but...
Well, this is what I want to say, because I will say this obviously on my show as well, but I had people come up to me and say things like, what are you hearing? Or have you read this? Or have you heard that? And I'm like, no, because I'm experiencing this event. That's what I'm here doing. I'm out here with 700 plus people that are pushing themselves farther than they ever have. And if you want to get hung up in like bullshit in the Facebook groups or complaining that the obstacles are too fucking hard, it's like, are you kidding me? What this event is about is I got to watch Ray Upshaw in tears hugging Giles when he finished because he's had this very long, rocky road. And if you don't know who he is, it's fine. It doesn't matter. And watching Callie work so hard to get her finish, and watching Austin for, 8 years, 10 years he's been in this sport, and he wins this race. Like, that's what this fucking thing is about, Mike. So, fuck all the negativity.
All right. It's good to hear that. It's good to hear that we need more positivity in the world. And if people haven't heard of your show, where can they find it?
Oh, they can find all things Obstacle Racing Media at Obstacle Racing Media, YouTube and podcast. And did you reach your goal of interviewing every single obstacle?
No. There's actually quite a few I didn't end up going to. Kind of disappointed. I didn't see the hanging rough penalty. I wanted to see that, about how you had to find like a nickel or something. Did you hear about that?
I heard something about it, yeah.
Which is a weird penalty, but a fun one. But I'm happy with what I did. It would have been a lot better if Caitlin was here, so she could have done socials and I could have just done the podcast. Instead, I think I did the both well, but not one excellent, if that makes sense,
Yes. Let's do a video of you so we can get people to follow you.
Ernie Cheatham, and from Orange County.
And how was your World's Toughest Mudder?
It was the toughest thing I've ever done. It was a lot harder than any Tough Mudder or Spartan that I've ever done before.
What did you end up getting for a mileage?
25. Actually 27 with penalty loops, but 25.
How are you feeling about it?
I expected to do a little bit better, but also I got my ass kicked. All those obstacles are way harder than I was used to. I've never ran at night before. I've never had to wear like a wetsuit or anything like that, so it really kind of kicked me in the nuts, but...
I'm going to quote Will Hicks here, but a World's Toughest Mudder isn't just a really long, tough mudder. It's a really long and a really hard, tough mudder. And it's hard to really understand that until you find out for yourself.
It's called World's Toughest Mudder. You think that it's just because it's 24 hours that they call it that, but they made everything harder. It was the toughest obstacles, longest penalty loops. Like, it was wild.
What were some of the obstacles that you dreaded seeing every lap?
What did I dread the most? Anything with water, really. Yeah. Anything with water that I was worried about, and then anything with grip after the water, or like your hands are covered in grip and mud, and it's hard. It was hard.
And then this was the year that will forever be known of when they stepped it up with penalties. How did those treat you?
It was rough. The first time when they opened Grappler for the first time, I was like, you know what? This line's way too long. I'm just going to do the penalty loop. And that was a very, very poor choice.
Yes.
That penalty loop, I don't know for sure how long it was. Felt like half mile, 3/4 of a mile.
I heard it was 2/3 of a mile now.
Okay, that checks out. And you had to go through a creek. And after that, next time I got to Grappler, I waited 15 minutes happily to do it. And I nailed it. So
and to add insult to injury, it's like when you're at the furthest part, that's when it gets all swampy. And you see how far away you are from the obstacle. I was shocked. Like, there's no way this is the penalty.
Yeah, you see two hills that you have to go up to get to it. And it was a bad choice.
Yeah. So what are some pieces of advice you'd give to someone who's thinking about doing their first World's Toughest Mudder?
I would definitely join the Facebook group as soon as possible to get as much information as you can. I didn't do that till last week because I didn't know about it.
Okay.
So definitely get as much information as you can from people that have done it before.
Right.
And I really think that's probably the best advice you can get. Yeah. Like, talk to more people that have done it before, and you can learn from their mistakes rather than learning from your own.
And how proud are you so you have the black headband too, to finish that last lap and to be a finisher?
I am absolutely more proud than anything because I cramped so bad on my third lap. I had to wait like 2 hours to go out for my fourth one, which was at nighttime. Came back at that, and I was ready to just call it quits and be like, I can't make it till morning. And I was lucky to have my wonderful wife who was willing to tell me I needed to stop being an expletive. And I will regret this for the rest of my life if I don't tough it out and last till 7 a.m. for this headband. And she was 100% right.
I'm sure this wasn't the first time, but yeah, she was totally right. Totally right on that. Just even if you're going to take a whole bunch of time off, do not lose your headband. Sometimes, your timing chip. Yeah. You could just drink a can of soda and everything can change. Just time usually heals a lot of that. So.
It really does. And I couldn't be more happier or more proud of myself that I stuck through and got it.
Oh, yeah. And then thoughts on ever maybe trying this again?
I said I wouldn't, but I've said I wouldn't to a lot of things. So only time will tell.
Hypothetically,
if they ever come to California, I'll be there for sure. I promise you that.
Hypothetically, if you would return, what are some things that you'd want to change?
Oh, man. Nutrition. My nutrition, I need to do better. I drank way too much Gatorade and like liquid calories compared to just water, and like over sodium, over electrolytes, and I think that threw me off a little bit. I had forgotten, I wore one pair of shorts and underwear the entire time. I brought extra shorts and underwear with me, forgot it in the hotel room. Just a few of them, I don't even know.
But you should be proud you did awesome, and thanks for taking the time to talk to me.
Absolutely, man, I appreciate you. Thank you for everything.
Hi, my name's Jacqueline. I'm with Lone Star IV Medics, and I'm here from Royce City, Texas.
So tell us a little bit about it.
So we provide wellness, IVs, rehydration, can help with performance recovery, which is perfect for an event like this where you've been going for 24 hours. Kind of help replenish all those vitamins and minerals that athletes deplete and help to recover from something big like this. So yeah.
I'm looking at the sign too, and I see a little drink too. Also good for after a long night of drinking.
It also helps if you maybe had one or too many adult beverages. We definitely see a lot of patients that call us on Sunday morning or Saturday morning for that matter, and can help get you feeling ready and back out.
How long have you been doing this?
I have been doing this about a year now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what do you like so much about it?
Oh man, I love the flexibility, and I'm an ER nurse, and so I like seeing people when they're not at their absolute worst. Seeing people that just want to take care of their bodies and working on wellness and helping them to achieve their goals. So that's what I love about it.
So what are you offering for product? Like how much does it cost? Like how does it work?
Yeah, so our IVs start at $110 and then the price goes up from there. I am running a special for any participants just for today at the event, but we have lots of different package options and everything can be customized to each individual person's needs and kind of what they're experiencing and how we can get them feeling better.
Yeah, talk a little bit about that, because when you think of IV, you think like saline solution or just something to like hydrate, but vitamins are also crucial, right?
Right. So we offer a whole lineup of different vitamins that can help with muscle recovery, mental clarity. Gosh, so many different great things that we offer for really a variety. We treat chronic illnesses. We treat just people that want to have better performance in their everyday life. It's too many to go into on everything that we offer, but like I said, we can customize it so that whatever you're looking to get out of it, we can build an IV around that.
Where can people find out more about you?
You can visit www.lonestarivmedics.com, and our menu and all of our vitamin lineup. You can learn about the different options that we have and everything that can benefit you from getting an IV.
Well, thanks for doing what you're doing, and thanks for taking the time to talk to me.
All right, thank you. Have a good day.
Good morning and welcome to the Brunch at the world's toughest mudder. Hi Mike, you suck.
Hey Brunch.
Hey Jack. Ow. Ow.
No, thank you.
No thank you.
Nein, danke.
Yarmakavaita.
NASCAR.
Zoom. Please tell me.
Zoom, motherfucker.
Vroom, vroom, or whatever sound Jack makes driving around a race course.
How do we stop this thing?
I don't know.
Sofia, Harnedy, Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
How was your World's Toughest Mudder experience?
It was fun and it was long, and I made more memories.
And you were pit crew, right? For anyone important, anyone that people might know?
Everybody's important. I was a main pit queen for Hannah and David Carta, Corey Edwards, Randall Jeffries, Jim Delory, Chris Rogoski, and a couple more people.
So you were busy, huh?
I was busy, but I had a good team around me to help me out.
Yeah. Did you have fun?
Had lots of fun.
What's some advice you'd give to someone that's, for pit crew? Like, what's something that other people might have overlooked?
Oh, well, biggest advice I'd give anybody is make sure you know what your runners need and organize a pit so you know where to find everything. We had a good section for everybody, but every corner of the pit was organized for every runner, so it's easy to get stuff.
And then final thoughts on, World's Toughest Mudder.
Yay.
And which podcast is better? Obstacle Racing Media or... No, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that to you.
Race Brain.
All right. Thanks so much for being the supporter of the show. I appreciate it.
Well, you're welcome.
Kevin Praytor, Houston, Texas.
And how was your World's Toughest Mudder?
It was a lot of fun. It was a grind. The course was really long with all the penalties.
Yeah.
But we made it through all night and we finished. It was phenomenal.
How many miles did you get?
So I was actually supporting another runner, Alex. She's a little person. And she carried herself through 30 miles at the race.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So I got to do I saw you at Everest on the last lap, and I walked with her through the penalty. Super exciting. How proud are you?
I'm not proud of me. I'm proud of her.
Yeah.
So while it was only 30 official miles, I clocked my watch at 37 miles. So she almost had 40 miles.
Those penalties were long.
They were incredibly long, and they still had dumb stuff you had to do in the middle of them too. So it was tough having to hammer stakes into the ground or...
What was that penalty for? Because I didn't get to see that.
I can't remember, honestly. They were all super long walks with a bunch of dumb stuff to do in the middle, and then you'd have to walk all the way back. So our laps got really long, but we kept going. We didn't stay in the pit too long, so it was awesome.
I will say the best thing is, obviously you have to go a little bit of a slower pace, but it wasn't cold. It was nice and warm, too, so I'm sure that was hugely helpful.
It did help a lot. I lucked out. I didn't have to put on my wetsuit, so that was really good. But the pit stops that we had to make, we had 30, 45, and hour-long pit stops in between a couple laps. And that was really tough for me and a couple of the other guys because we would have to kind of put on dry robes and walk around the pit a lot because you don't want to take off the clothes and put them back on. So that was a new challenge I've never experienced.
Yeah.
So.
And then the mandatory obstacle completions, I think of Augustus Gloop, that looked like one of the harder ones that you had to do. How was that?
So for me personally, it's the hardest Augustus Gloop I've ever done, and this is my 6th Worlds. But it was even harder for our athlete Alex because we had to get up in the center of the rope net, and we would have to stand on it and hold it. So that way it was taut so she could actually climb because she couldn't span the net itself to be able to walk up it staircase style. So.
What were some of the other obstacles that were harder than you would have expected?
Trying to accommodate for Mutterhorn was incredibly difficult because by the time we got to the backside, she didn't have the grip strength anymore to really hold herself completely. So I would have to end up under her on the net, and I would hold up above her, and she would drop into me, put her full weight into me, and then she could step down. She'd re-grip for just a sec, I'd scooch down one more rung, she'd fall into me, and we slowly worked our way down the bottom of Mutterhorn that way. Yeah. It was a lot of work, but it was fun.
What's some advice you'd give to someone that's running with an adaptive athlete, like some different kind of style?
Be ready for anything. Yeah. I'm sore in places I've never been sore in, and I've run this 6 times. And you don't want to be accommodating, but you need to understand that their needs are different than what might be your needs. Right. And just do everything you can. I carried all her hydration and nutrition for every lap, so she carried nothing. She didn't have a waist pack, a camelback, or anything. I hope that helped her because it didn't hinder me. So.
Well, nice to see you, man, and
Thank
glad
you.
You had a good night.
Thank you so much. It was good talking.
Hannah Carta, Bolingbrook, Illinois.
Sorry to interrupt you. Did you pick up my phone by chance when I was sitting out there? Cannot find my phone.
Find my phone. Isn't there an app? Like
there's an app for that.
I do
nice
have
Coros
that, but no one's gonna be able to hear it if I find my phone.
Let's try it. Try it. Someone's gonna hear it. Mappy Davis being Mappy Davis, ladies and gentlemen. How was your World's Toughest Mudder?
Not great, but it's a great place to not have a great day. We'll put it that way.
Fair. What are the things that, what are barriers that you encountered?
GI distress of the highest order.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Oh, no. Well, other than that obstacle, what did you think about the obstacles on the course?
I thought a lot of them were fun. I definitely missed some of the more teamwork obstacles, kind of like block mess and stuff. that we're notably missing, but I think they did a good job putting some good variety out there. And, had a good time.
Did you have to deal with any of the penalties at all?
Oh, yeah. There was definitely 12 extra miles of running that I did from penalties, and usually, I'm a mileage junkie, so, a little good in one way for me. Definitely more time consuming, so it definitely extended laps in a way that I wasn't expecting. But it was definitely an interesting, different look than what we've seen the past 2 years.
One of the longest penalties seemed to be the grappler. How did you do with that one?
So I tried that obstacle twice and failed all 3 attempts both times. So I was like, all right, I'm not trying that anymore. It's too time consuming. I took the penalty and just ran through it. The water wasn't bad. It was like knee deep, but that was where my first incident of GI distress happened. So that was like not a fun memory, but eventually, actually, it was awesome. I had one of my friends, Brian Martin, show me how he had success. My loops were too long, so we shortened them and tossed them more compact tight. And then actually on one of my last laps, Jenny Overstreet, who was killing it, showed me the best way to do it, and I will never do it another way. She left as much of the rope as possible up near the wall, and there's nothing in the rules that said you couldn't walk the rope up and walk back down, and then just threw the thing like a baseball. I can throw a baseball, went right up there, no drag from the rope. It was perfect. So
that's actually the first time I've heard that.
If I ever do that obstacle again, that's how it's going to be done. It was genius. Thank you, Jenny.
This is late advice, but whoever wants to take that, take it.
It was late for me, too. I was like, why didn't I hear about this lap, too? But it was great.
Well, still terrific seeing you out there. Great member of the OCR community. What do you love so much about World's Toughest Mudder, though?
I mean, it's a party. It's so fun, and like I said, I had a bad day, but I'm able to come back in the pit and be sick and like around awesome people and have a good time. And then when I finally, things slowed down enough for me that I was able to go back out there and become an official finisher, you're still having a good time out there. Like, there's always so many good people, and it's always a good time, and no one's blaming you for having a bad day and making you feel bad about it when you're already feeling bad about it enough at yourself. So that's definitely the best part about this year's race for me.
And what else do you have planned for events this year, next year?
I got a couple things in the hopper. I got Across the Years coming up again over New Year's, so that should be fun. And I look forward to that. Hopefully we'll be healed up and recovered a little bit faster than last year. That took a while. So looking forward to that one next.
Great talking to you, Hannah.
Thanks for being here, Mike. Thanks for all the hard work you did this weekend.
My name is Stefanie Bishop, and I'm from New York.
And how was your World's Toughest Mudder experience?
It was next level. I was once again a part of Coach's Corner and danced for more than 24 hours.
Now that is an endurance event in itself. I know I was there for 3 hours, like in the middle of the night. Started off going hard, ended up with just a head nod. Just kudos to that.
Yeah, my watch said that I moved 120,000 steps. There were small steps, but there were a lot of steps.
Yeah. Now, you have quite a history of World's Toughest Mudder, too. Do you think you'll ever come back and run it? Or?
Yeah, I was thinking about running it this year, but my body needs a rest. So, if all goes well next year, I'll be at the start line. And if I'm not at the start line, you know where to find me.
Yes. I mean, part of being a great athlete is knowing when to recover. And you have to be smart about things like that, right?
Yeah, it's really difficult also because you have to kind of fight your heart and be like, I really want to do something, but is it best for the longevity of what I want to do to want to race everything? But that's what's so beautiful about this event is you could still be a part of it and not be actually racing it. And I think as somebody who has raced it, being on the other side and being able to help push people is just as rewarding as racing it.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And how is this Coach's Corner compared to previous years?
It definitely has expanded. We brought in a production company to set it up. Lights, and even the obstacle was much larger than it was. And I knew what the production side was going to look like, but TMHQ was taking care of obviously the obstacle side of it. So it was great that it was like an event in its own. A lot of people from the pit came up. We had some racers stay with us for hours on end. It was a lot of fun.
And you also had the coffee sponsor too. I saw that you're repping the shirt.
Immortal. Yeah, Immortal. Kyle met Scotty, who's the founder of Immortal, who was there serving coffee at another event he did. And we loved it. It was like the perfect partnership because, I know sometimes out there in the middle of the night, I just want a little caffeine pick me up, but I don't want to wait until I get back into to the pit. And it also gave us a chance to interact more with people. And it was just, I don't know, it was fun. It took it to another level too.
What else do you have planned for events this year, next year?
Yeah, so part of the reason I didn't run is I'm going to run the Speed Project solo again in March. I did that 2 years ago. It's a run from the Santa Monica Pier to the Las Vegas sign. It's about my route, no rules, no route. You got to go whichever way you want, and just don't do anything illegal, and on your own 2 feet. So it's about just under 300 miles is my route. So I'm kind of, I'm going to dive into training when I get home.
You're a badass, and great to see you out there, whether it's Coach's Corner around the course. Looking forward to seeing you next year.
Thank you so much. I'll see you then.
My name is Orion James. I'm from San Diego.
And how was your World Toughest Mudder?
It was interesting. Very interesting. It started off really bad, and then it was good for a while, and then it was kind of bad again for a while.
Is this your first World Toughest Mudder?
This is my second.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Last year you previous one?
Yeah.
How would you compare the 2 courses?
I liked last year's course a lot better. I liked the forest. There's a lot more trees. It was more scenic. This one, it was just a lot of loose rock, kind of gravelly, and there wasn't as much elevation, but it felt like there was a lot more elevation just in the short the hills that they were really steep and like pretty arduous, hard to climb. Yeah.
And then I couldn't make it last year, but the penalties this year were very difficult. Did you have to deal with that a lot?
Yeah, so I had to do a decent amount of the penalties, especially as my hands started locking up, and I don't really like electricity, so I was doing penalties for operation, and they weren't tough, but they were time consuming and they were long. So it was anywhere from a quarter mile to a mile of extra running and walking on top of whatever you're doing that lap.
You talked about the highs and lows that you felt. That's an obstacle in itself too. How do you manage that emotion?
You just hope, I believe in hope a lot, and time doesn't stop moving. So anytime I'd get frustrated, I would just look at my watch and see the time still ticking away, and it's just a day in your life that's gonna go. Time's gonna pass anyway. You might as well just keep on trekking, keep on running, hope that it gets better, and sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't. But it's that hope that kind of keeps you going.
What was your final mileage?
75. Yeah.
You able to get that silver bib?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
What did you do last year?
I got 80 last year, so I got the silver bib dirty. I wasn't able to get that this year. I had some various mistakes, I think, that I could do better, but there's always more years to come. So
safe to say you're planning for next year too?
Yeah, possibly. I should be. We did all 8 races this year, so we were flying around traveling. So I also won the Holy Grail. Yeah, thank you. And so it was a lot of traveling. So I'm not going to do as many races next year, but I would like to come back for the 24-hour. It's a lot of fun.
And then I'm pretty sure you weren't watching the live stream because you were running it, but there was a moment in the live stream where I had to correct them. They saw you come in and they confused you with Austin Azar for a split second, which is a magnificent compliment.
Yeah. Yeah, a few people told me that. They're like, "Oh, you guys are built the same." I'm like, "No, we're not." Like that guy's that guy's an animal. So big, super nice guy too.
Well, you are too. Congratulations on 75 miles, and we'll talk to you next year.
Yeah, hell yeah. Thank you.
We go straight on to bacon then. Congratulations for eating 1,000 portions of bacon between you. Great work on that. And apologies that we're starting late. Our race directors wanted it changed. I genuinely, when I got up this morning and Chris put some shoes on that weren't work boots or like his old flip-flops, I was a little bit confused as to who he got them from. And it turns out he owns them. But you will see that in a moment. When did we last speak? 48 hours ago. Feels like a lot longer than that. 48 hours ago when we were on the start line, ready to get going, I recall saying that the reason this event is so special is because of you all, because of what you bring, because of those extreme displays of athleticism, resilience, kind of camaraderie and kindness. And you absolutely delivered that over the weekend, so thank you very much. For bringing that and putting your best out on course. lot going on. The other thing I'm grateful for here is that we have a podium. A podium that I won't be spending the rest of the afternoon with the little Velcro flaps, and a podium that is worthy of the champions. And a WTM that we put on that was absolutely worthy of its name. Jim Campbell built this for us, and I hoped that we'd be able to get him up. I hope we'll be able to get him up here actually to say a couple of words about it. His own journey with Tough Mudder started about 10 miles down the road when he had that horrific car crash. He didn't even realise that it was so close when he came to WTM this year. Unfortunately, he has had to go for treatment. He hurt his ribs helping people up at Everest overnight, on Saturday night. But what he would have said was that this is a podium built by the community for the community, and that's absolutely how he thinks about all you guys and Tough Mudder. Speaking about the weekend, technology permitting, that's wild. Technology permitting, we're going to have a little video just to remember what we got up to before we get started. Wow! Well, that's an awkward scream that doesn't fill me with happy thoughts. Oh no, we're winning!
World's toughest mudder. It's that one time a year that the toughest mudders from around the world congregate at World's Toughest Mudder. Welcome to Mudder Nation, y'all. Do you believe in your why? Yes, sir. Will you give your best out there in that course today? Yes, sir. And we will see you at the finish line. 3, 2, 1.
All right, I don't know how I feel. Oh yeah. Sorry, I don't know how I feel getting up here after you looked at all the obstacles again. But hopefully that was a nice reflection on how meaningful yesterday was for everybody. Thanks for having us up again. I'm Chris. This is Jen. Jen has her own microphone. I don't think she's going to use it. But we want to congratulate all of you for the amazing achievements over the course of the weekend. Had a lot of people stop by the race center and personally insult me, but also thank me for how meaningful all of the 50, 75 mile, and 100 mile bibs were this weekend. So nicely done again. Round of applause for yourselves for everything you did in 2023. Love you too. And as Giles might have mentioned, we were in trouble last year for flip-flops and casual attire for brunch, so we dressed up for you today. Apparently we have different definitions of classy, but this is the best I could do. Jen? All right, now I don't look like a cruise ship waiter anymore. So before we get started, we have a couple special awards we're going to give out throughout the presentation. And we wanted to start with one that was really special for us. A very sincere, very genuine description of what was happening on the course and his feelings on how we could make the event run a little better and completely fair. It was great for us because he wasn't complaining. He had just really insightful feedback on what we could do better. And because of that, we wanted to bring him up here so we could make him nope, wrong way, not a cow, an honorary race director for us. So James can come on up, we have something for him. I'll make the same joke a lot of times. What's taking so long? No, it's not as long as the penalty lives. But here you are, complimentary race director hat. For all you've done. All right, the first of many, but thank you, James. I forget what he told us, but it was really important. I think it made things easier for you guys. Now, moving right along, we're going to present our Holy Grail champions for 2023. So, for anyone that doesn't know, we track everyone's mileage over the course of the entire year at every Infinity event, toughest event, and World's Toughest yesterday, and we present an award to the man and woman who have run the most cumulative miles over the course of the entire season. So, first up, we have Leanne Simmons, who did an amazing 215 miles over the course of this year. Really incredible. With, I believe, 55 miles of World's Toughest yesterday. And although we don't have the fancy blazer just yet, we'll give her a second Holy Grail to show off, and then we'll send that blazer all the way across the ocean to the UK. The quicker, Orion James, our men's champion for 361 miles.
I just want to say thanks to my dad. I really couldn't have gone to one of the races.
Thank you. We had a lot of help this year, and he really put it all together. So, thank you.
And a sample jacket. Nicely done, Orion. And now, we're going to hop into our age group awards for World Toughest Mudder 2023. And Jaws is going to make his way on up, and we're going to do our best to pronounce the names correctly.
I'm not actually doing the announcing for the site. Fran's the rescue. Fran, wave from the terms of what's going on back there.
Hi.
So who do we have first? What's up?
So for the women's age group winners, aged 18 to 24, in third place we have Alexis McQuaid, Holly McDonald, and in first place is Alison Horniak. Next category is men's winners aged 18 to 24. In third place is Orion James. Second place is Andrew Losh. And in first place is Isaac Sanderson. Next category is women's winners age group 25 to 29. Third place is Linda Zalowski. Second place is Rebecca Kozel. And in first place is Hannah Carta. Next is the men's winners aged 25 to 29. In third place is Austin Deanna. Second place is Matthew Gill.
Nice job, Matt.
And in first place it's CDJ Christian Brown Johnson. In age group 30 to 34. In third place is Rebecca Weldner. In second place, with possibly one of the most epic finishes I've seen, was Melissa Linden. And in first place is Katie Knight. In the 30 to 34 men's category, in third place is Jonathan Ryan. In second place is Mike Stravell. And in first place is Corey Peake.
I'm starting to think that they only picked Fran to the names because if she does it wrong, it just ends up sounding better. That's my hot take here.
Age 35 to 39. In third place is Sarah Tucker. In second place is Robin Costa. And coming in first is Jenny Overstreet. Third place is Jane Pettit. In second place is Grant Thompson. And coming in first is Grant Baylor. Women's winners aged 40 to 44. In third place is Amina Shade. In second place is Kareen Colin. And coming in first is Nikki Karamba. In the men's age category 40 to 44, in third place is Jim Granbury. Coming in second is Evan Perperis. And in first place is Joshua Pure. 45 to 49. In third place is Julianne Estes. In second place is Jules Tower. And in first place is Pauline DeCosta. Now for the men 45 to 49. In third place is Jason Rulo. In second place is Marco Caramba. And in first place is Jamie Hunter. Women's age 50 to 54. In third place is Andy Harvey. In second place is Kirsten Mecklenburg. And coming in first is Sue Harvey Brown. Kevin Vanderwood.
Sorry, third place was Sean Hastings. Second place was Kevin Vanderwold.
And in first place is Fred Clark Louie. Women's age group 55 to 59 winners. In third place is Angela Jones Smith. In second place is Laura Dearberger. And in first place is Renee Thompson Jacobs. Men's winners aged 55 to 59. In third place is Whitney Tilson. In second place is Michael Budowski. And in first place is John Castle. For the women's winners aged 60 plus, in second place is Peggy Lloyd. And in first place is Deborah Arson.
And now that I have audio of Fran saying arson, I can totally use that against her.
Age 60 plus, in third place is Desmond McMahon. Second place is James Brown. And coming in first is Gary Villeneuve.
There's Jason hiding. Happy second, Jason. Just reminding everyone he was running yesterday as well.
Good morning, y'all. I'm going to keep it brief. About 4 or 5 years ago, we started the Clydesdale Latino Awards. It's kind of our community award for our heavier weighted folks. We had this grow each year, and I have the last 2 winners that are going to present the belts. Right here. I got Nick Artis and Peter Wilson. We're going to bring up first our Athenas. We had 3 women all go 55 miles. It's awesome, it really is. Becca Wheeler, Melissa Dugan, Leah Simmons. 2 hours separated all 3 of them. Second and third place is separated by 13 minutes. And so because we are, again, the bigger, we have a bigger award. It's our belts that we give out. You can get up on these podiums, ladies. Our reigning back-to-back champion. Emmanuel placed the belt on Mark Bernard, but in third place we had Charles Hopper. In second place, James Del Verde. So if both of y'all could shuffle your way up here, all 3 of you. Mark got this today with 70 miles. I'll give it back to Giles for your overalls, or community work.
Cheers, Jason. Thank you. So this is really the one time of the year that we get mothers from around the world together, and we primarily here to celebrate the remarkable achievements from the weekend. But we also take this moment to celebrate the community and people in the community and a lot of what they've contributed over the course of the year. And we do that via our community awards. And the annual awards have been running for a while, and they are tied to the brand pillars: grit, camaraderie, teamwork, personal accomplishment. And we reach out into the community and we ask for them to nominate and advocate for the people that they feel are most worthy of those within the year, the season that we've had. And I read through all of those, and there's some really remarkable stories in there. There's some stuff that's not quite as remarkable. One person nominated Will Hicks because of his manly, gritty voice. What a treat. Will, you've not been this year's winner, but it's always a pleasure to have you on site. But we do have some remarkable winners, and where I can, I like to get somebody out who really knows them, has been along that journey with them. And so, for our first award, I wanted to bring Leanne back to the stage. She's ditched her heavy belt for this. Leanne, to talk about this year's winner of the Mental Grit Award. I'd like to introduce her.
So, I first met this person about 6 years ago. This person's become quite a respected, well-known person within the mother community over in the UK. And the journey they've been on, especially in the last few years, has been quite remarkable. You would recognise them as that person that I first met out of course, who stood at the bottom of the pyramid scheme and was just terrified about getting up that obstacle. Well, they've done more than get up that obstacle. Their journey's been transformational, and it's been an absolute joy for me to watch. They've gone from that to going out this year in Europe to come to mother and smashing the goal of 50 miles. And I had the absolute privilege of seeing that person cross the finish line, and I know just how much that meant to her. And it's not just about the physical journey she's been on, it's seeing that change in self-belief. She said recently on social media that she would love to be an inspiration and inspire somebody within OCR. Well, she has done more than that, and she continues to do so. And she is the most deserving winner, and that's Sam Gascoigne.
You can take the award back for that, right? Massive congrats to Sam, and it's wonderful to see people from the UK winning here as well. The temptation is always to focus on the US community, where Tough Mudder was born, where so much of this kind of grew, and so much of what we see in the community was kind of first generated. But we've got a really, really tight-knit group out there as well. So for the next award, personal accomplishment, I wanted to bring Lisa up. There you are. To talk about someone that she has been working with the last year or so. And while she will touch on this while she's here, we often think about personal accomplishment as the physical accomplishment itself, what we work hard to achieve. But I think the way people go about that, the way they are in those achievements, is as impactful. So, hi, welcome. Over to you.
Okay.
I'm actually going to read this off my phone. Giles asked me about an hour and a half ago if I'd like to do this, and I want to make sure that I give this person the accomplishment that they deserve. So many of us in this room, when we look at the word accomplishment, so many of us are very good at running leaps in the mud. This person is receiving this award. He's been recognised by so many of you in this room and the worldwide mother community for his attitude, his humility, his grit, and obviously his accomplishment. I know he's going to find all of this probably a little bit uncomfortable. He likes to fly under the radar. Safe to say he has failed. This year especially, the things that he's achieved and the way he's gone about it have made flying under the radar truly impossible. When you're so likeable, so friendly, one of the all-round good guys, and you're a kick-ass racist boot, it's very hard to go unnoticed. I, for one, along with TMHQ I know, are so glad that so many of you have recognised this racer. He is finally seeing and believing that he really can do the most amazing thing. He has come such a long way in developing his confidence, his self-belief, and is one of the most single-minded person I know, and he has worked so incredibly hard. He's made so many major changes to his attitude, his body composition, his strength, his power. He's developed incredible strength, endurance, and mental. It's an amazing achievement for him this year. Huge mileage and progress, and just being awesome on and off course. Despite being a very modest individual who likes to keep himself to himself, he's really pushed himself hard this season and really put himself out there in a sport that we all love. His commitment to his own personal development has been impressive, but what's even more impressive is that he has never done that at the expense of the tough mother values that we all hold so true. He's always been more than happy to help others, stop for a hug, or verbally encourage anyone that needs it, and help them achieve their goals. He's risen from the regular tough mudder community to get elite contender status and be fighting for a top spot with the Holy Grail miles. And probably right now, he's still sat there thinking, shit, she's talking about me. Yeah, I might just be, my friend. That's how modest he is. You would have listened to all that and go, who's she talking about? It's been truly inspiring to watch his fight this year for both that elite contender status and that Holy Grail status. Especially when we in the UK have less access to Infinity and toughness. He has worked hard, pushed himself beyond what he believes he's actually capable, and he's one of the only 2 British people to achieve elite contender status. That alone is a testament to how hard he has worked this year. Despite this, I can attest to the fact that he isn't positive. His lack of ego, his friendly nature, his positive attitude have made him very popular on both sides of the pond, both on and off course. And his attitude has shown us what we can all achieve if we really want it. I know that he will definitely say, if he can do this, so can you. I am so proud to be able to present this award to you, both as your coach and your friend. So with the greatest of pleasure, I am pleased to announce that Gary Andrews is the winner of this
A camaraderie award for this year. I actually first mentioned this gentleman on stage at the WTM Brunch in 2019. And at the time, a runner-up had a pretty remarkable year at the time. And since then, I've got to work with him, I've got to know him a lot better. I spent a lot of time behind the scenes with him. And this is a gentleman who is on events religiously. He's there all the time. He's there, he's out in course, he's running, he's helping more on that at the moment. On the ambassador program, in the info tent, also doing a lot of work behind, making sure that the TMHQ team are more just stopping in the corners most of the time. We're just going to pick the slide, like, want to get him coming up here. Mr. Didier. I'll keep talking as he walks. This is a well-deserved award. If you don't recognise this man, you probably saw him several times over the course of the weekend. And you probably stood him at events leading up to this weekend and post this weekend. It is an absolute pleasure having you in the community, having you helping the community, literally lifting the community up, giving them a hand and a knee. And personally, I want to thank you for all the support you provide me and the team, but they don't see. They see what you do out and about, but we don't always see the community dinners and the emails and everything else. It's a pleasure. Thank you. He also says thank you. This is another award where if you look at past winners, it just gives you some visibility into the amazing groups of people that give up their time to help on and off the course. At the end of the angels, men and women, the Motherhorn, and Mother Minds within previous years. We've had some really strong applications in this year for people who've done remarkable things at single events. I think particularly about Bee and the team who got them round at Yorkshire. We also had the old team crab hats, advocate the team squid hats, which was very generous of them. But this year's winner is the OCR Solo Mothers group, another group that sits in the background, not as well known, not out front, but they take what it means to be a tough mother, and they're out there helping first timers. They're helping mothers who don't have people to run with. What I particularly like about it is they're taking that tough mother spirit and they're taking it out into the rest of the OCR community as well. A mother always by your side is how they think about their approach to what they do. They are not here, so I will carry their unnecessarily large award back in my luggage and give it to them in the UK when I get back. But massive congratulations to that team. That awkward moment where what's coming next, I'm not actually sure. I am. So, Sean and Clinton have been doing something at Competitor Events for a number of years where they recognise people who have really left it all out on course. And we've been chatting to them for a while about this and turning that into something that's more formal and something that's going to endure, that we can recognise what they are already recognising and seeing in the community. And so, again, subject to tech working, I'd like to hand it over to somebody to introduce our next award. Does anybody want to come up and tell us the story? Oh, wait a minute.
This award was inspired as big by the people who opened it. Can't wait to see you pics and hear about the World Toughest Mother experience. You're all freaking awesome. Congratulations to all of you who participated in bringing the magic to this year's WTO and to the 2023 Tough Mother season. The No One is Better Than Your Best Award. This award was inspired by the people who over the years have displayed a tenacious strive and grit to be their best and discover their better during competition. It recognizes an achievement that transcends course time and placing and encompasses the tough mother mentality of promoting and strengthening an all-inclusive world community by living life your best, not your settled best, your honest best. No one is better than your best, but your best will make you better, and that will make us all better. A big hoorah to the 2023 recipient of the No One is Better Than Your Best Award.
So John and I chatted in advance about this and we conferred it on over the weekend, and what he's out there looking for is he's looking for that person who crosses the finish line and there is obviously nothing left, and it's not something you can plan in advance. It's like you will know at the finish line. And I spent a lot of yesterday morning, an absolute pleasure crowning people as they came over the finish line, and there was one gentleman in particular who came up and he was being carried on his way to me while hobbling as it were, and then he was physically carrying out from that, and that is Ty Walker. Where are you? Hiding at the back. Step up. There is a man who obviously left everything out in court, as he does every single time he steps up to a tough ladder.
The wheels start to come off. All right. So next up, another special award we have. This gentleman was pretty amazing. He came up before the race. He was asking about the adaptive athlete category, and he was starting the race with the team. A couple of hours went by, and his pit crew came up and said he had gone missing completely. He got separated from his team. They hadn't seen him in a while. They weren't sure what happened, so we were all quite worried. All of a sudden, in the middle of the night, he just appeared as if out of nowhere, perfectly fine and shouting his own name. This man, if I can do this right, oh no, Tommy Perperis, appeared, but ran over 25 miles, seemingly just came out of nowhere. So we're giving him this year's Sorcery Award for being a little bit of a magician and leaving his team in the dust. Is Tommy here? Better he's overcoming obstacles? All right, well, and he's still missing. He did it again. All right, Tommy, well, we'll ship you your wand wherever you might be. All right, and now we'll move on to our male champions.
From male champions, in third place with 100 miles is Joseph Rucco. In second place with 100 miles is Michael Schjott. And in first place with 105 miles is Austin Azar. And now for the female champions of 2023. In third place with 85 miles is Stefanie Brand. In second place with 90 miles is Callie Schjott. And in first place with 90 miles is Chris Rogowski.
All right, so I hope this next gentleman hasn't gone too far, but overnight at the race we got asked a lot of questions. The one we got asked the most was whether Michael had dropped out of the race or not. He went out really fast, and then he just never went out for another lap. He was losing ground. And then all of a sudden, in the morning, who should wake up but Michael, who started ripping out laps and climbed back to second place. I hope he knows this is a joke, but we have for him the Sleepyhead Award for Michael. We got him a nice Tough Mudder branded coffee mug. So next time he can make it through the night, and we'll see how far he can really go. Oh no, I spoiled it. So now we're going to do the 100-mile club. So at the beginning of this race, I swore no one was going to get 100 miles. I actually didn't want anyone to get 100 miles. And yet, 5 different people managed to push and go beyond 100 miles. So we've got a couple blazers to give out this year. We're going to do our best to make them fit. So first we have Austin, who's not with us, but hitting 105 miles. And then we have 4 more to bring up here. Michael, I'm sorry, you're just going to have to keep doing these laps. Michael, Joseph, Joshua, and Christian Brown Johnson. And if you don't think it's funny how we put up Christian's name on the screen because we couldn't fit Christian Brown Johnson, then we have no hope. I'll never make you laugh. All right, now back to Giles for the Mudder Legion milestone. Had a big one this year.
Each year we have legionnaires from around the world doing big milestones, and all of those milestones are important because they hit them all the way up from, I think all the way back when hitting 10 was blowing people's minds. And so now we look at this year, we had 26 people hit their 100 times, which is hugely impressive. And we have updated on the website now, so if you go to the website you will see an accurate list of people who have hit 100 times over the course of their journey with Tough Mudder, and very much deserve a clap. These are the leaders within our community, and we hope that we will continue to display that proudly so that they can be recognised for those achievements and the contributions that they make out in course and within the community at large. But yesterday we had an achievement that truly is remarkable, and there's nothing that I can really say to capture what it means. But as Ryan crossed the finish line yesterday for his 200th Tough Mudder, doing 200 of anything is really impressive. Doing 200 Tough Mudders is really impressive. But this is less a congratulations for having achieved 200 Tough Mudders, and it's far more a thank you. Because if you look at the group who celebrated with him as he crossed the finish line, and you look at the tears on their faces and how it impacted those around them, those that were running with him, those that were supporting in the celebration, you know that the real achievement is not in the number of events, but in the number of lives touched and the way he goes about that journey that he's been on. So thank you, Ryan, and thank you. As we wrap up each year, before we get to the venue announcement, although I believe the marketing team are going to send out the venue announcement whenever it's convenient for them. So if you keep refreshing your phone while we chat, you may well find out before we announce it. But before we get there, Hall of Fame, something we do each year. And the first Hall of Fame inductee is a gentleman from the UK. And we've been on our own journey in the UK. Tough Mudder feels a little bit different, it looks a little bit different, whether that's the start line experience or the obstacles, or just generally how we leverage our British sense of humour. But the underlying elements are the same, and we've been on that same journey, and there's a gentleman who's been along that journey with us, a gentleman who's been out in front with the customers, on the mic, at our biggest events globally, and the events that have been our biggest events globally for a while. A gentleman called Bobby, who has worked with us as we look to express what it makes Tough Mudder special out into the community on the start line. And what you don't see, and what we often don't see with the MCs, is the work they do in the background, whether that's the videos or again the support for the team or the tireless work that goes in. And so, long overdue, and an absolute delight to be bringing Bobby Lawrenson into the Tough Mudder Hall of Fame, and I look forward to bringing his award back with me and giving it to him in person. He's been a wonderful support and a friend and a contributor of energy to me, to the Mudders we're running, and to the TMHQ team for many, many years. So congrats to Bobby, and someone will no doubt, someone, you take me to the back, get him up the top face. I'd like to invite Clinton up to talk about the next Hall of Fame inductee. It's not Clinton, he's in already.
Yeah. Oh, I love you guys. I love you. Congratulations, first of all, on a fantastic event. Whether you hit your goal or not, you gave a life, you gave it all, you helped somebody else out. So congratulations to all of you. You guys, and those who are not here, who are watching it, wherever this goes out, you're still, we miss you. Those of you who are part of our world's community, and those of you who are part of Mother Nation, we love you. Keep coming back. We're so proud of you and everything you do. And all the smart people that come over and give us a shot and see what Tough Mudder is all about, thank you. You keep coming too. Thank you. Also, ladies and gentlemen, I'm glad that we were able to do the near impossible, which is that we ran out of meat in Texas. Of all places, in a building that sells livestock right inside, we still get walking cows and pigs walking around right there. We could have eaten, but we did it. No meat. All right, you guys. I want to acknowledge in this Hall of Fame someone who is, when people reach iconic status, that is above and beyond just participation. This gentleman has come around these events for a better part of a decade, giving himself, his body, just everything that he has to make everybody's experience as good as it can be. Mounts up on an obstacle, gets up there helping people. It's not just about coming out and running for himself. It's about giving back and making people feel special. Again, iconic. Whether you know him, as the Santa Claus man, whether you know him as the Roses man, he's an open boy his whole life, even the love and mama with us. Ladies and gentlemen, we love him, we need him, Princess Blackman! There he is. Look at him. Never stop giving, ladies and gentlemen. Mother Nation could not ask for a better friend. His mother would be so proud. She is so proud. He has shared so much with so many people. People know about him before they even get to the thing. Everybody knows and loves him. And Francis can only at this moment, he just asked me to tell you, just tell him thank you. You know his heart. There he is. He is our Francis. Everybody, thank you for all you've done for us. Thank you again.
Occasionally, I will break my silence for a good reason. Thank you. So Chris and I have been working at Tough Mudder for about a decade. Hundreds of people that love the break. This person, personality, a colleague, and a friend.
Yes, it's true. And most of you may have only ever seen him on a stage or doing something crazy overnight at one of our events. I know him as the one sitting in the hotel lobby after an event, eating Taco Bell and telling me crazy stories. But whether you know him as Coach or you know him as Kyle, he's iconic. He's a member of the Tough Mudder family. He gives it all every time. I'm going to bring up Kyle Railton into the Hall of Fame. You guys are all freaking awesome. I'm sorry a little bit. But thank you for last night and the other night. It was awesome. And before he goes anywhere, just stay up for a second. Can we have Steph Bishop come up quickly? You look surprised by that. Steph and Anthony.
You can't hear me. I lost my voice. Yeah. Anthony. So, I think a lot of people know what's in my arm here, but if you don't know, find out, and please come and sign it. I had a lot of conversations with Coach leading up to this event. I'm sure he does too. He's always so excited. He's planned these years in advance, really. And this year was extra special, and it's also his birthday tomorrow. So during these conversations, he's like, yeah, and it's their birthday weekend, and he's so stoked to celebrate his birthday with everybody here. And so I just picked up a book, and I just wanted as many mothers to sign it and to wish him happy birthdays and to try to give him back half the messages that he gives us every time he shows up to anything. So if you haven't signed it, please find us with a pen, write the pen here for him. We love him so much.
Let's have another round of applause for all three of our Hall of Fame inductees, Ronnie, Francis, and Kyle. I seem to have a conversation after every World's Toughest where people are like, that was horrible, I hate you. Some of them are kind enough to say, also that it was very good hate, and I'm never coming again. To which I'm like, okay, I'll see you next year. And so I hope I will see all of you next year in Florida. Now, I'm not allowed to tell you exactly where in Florida it is, but I'm sure it won't be too difficult to work it out. And that's it. There's an email that will come around shortly. Hopefully, it will be mild like it was this year, and we'll focus on obstacle difficulty instead. And with that, that brings us to the end of the brunch. There's a reminder, because I forgot last year, that the first timer class photo is inbound. So if you are the first timer, make sure you do come up here afterwards. Also, if you're about to leave or you're thinking I'm about to start the pub crawl really early, bar crawl, whatever you call it in the US, we need to get all of your cars out of this car park when you leave, because you're going to get locked up. And so if you're up for a lock-in over here, leave your car. If not, do make sure your car's with you. And so with that, thank you again for all that you bring to WTM. Thank you for the outrageous racing, the pit crew, the volunteers. You guys are awesome.
Michael and from Denmark.
And how was your World's Toughest Mudder this year?
Hard, very hard. It's roller coaster for my head. So very hard and totally mentally a roller coaster. Yeah.
So I was told by some of my listeners to keep an eye out for you. I'm like, okay, I'll see if he starts climbing the rankings. You had an excellent, excellent start of the race. Yeah. What happened with the whole slowing down a little bit there?
It started very good, and all the plan was just to try to go all hard and see what the body can and so on. And after I think some rounds, we do a bad decision about energy and intake about energy, and then I totally die in the 15th round. Totally dead, and my head just like I don't want anymore and not to go out again. And I had said to myself, I'm stopped now. But yeah.
Now this isn't your first World's Toughest Mudder. You competed, was it 2017?
Yeah, 17. Yeah.
And what happened with that race too?
One more time, sorry.
How did that race go for you back then?
Oh, I get number 5. So also a good race. Yeah.
Did you hear something about like the cold getting to you or something for that race?
Yeah, in Vegas, the cold totally took me out. I think I was out in 2 hours or something like that. And then I get out again, my legs were totally dead. So I was a little afraid this time. When I get out again, I'm totally dead, but it's going well when I get out again, yeah.
And not only that, this year when you got back out there, you were going faster than ever. How did it feel to start climbing the rankings again?
Yeah, what did it feel? It felt good. It was just, I just got out at the morning and just try to run my own race and to do my own pace and just have fun. And the sun is coming and all things is just going right. So it's just in the last round I did. I know I've been second, so that's nice, yeah.
How did it feel to have everyone cheering for you on the course?
Oh, that's amazing. It's the community about Tough Mudder is just amazing. Something you're not seeing as a only Tough Mudder you see there. So nice.
And so you also won toughest.
Yeah, Europe Toughest Mudder. Yes, I take this year. Yeah.
And what did you think about the obstacles out in the course?
Maybe a little too easy.
I love that because the general sentiment in the States is that they're too hard. Yeah. But athletes in your part of the country are phenomenal at obstacles, right?
yeah, we train that and we love the difficult obstacle, and I will love them. Long and hard, and just take your grip out. So this obstacle, I will not say is easy after 24 hours race. The obstacle is very fine, but for me, I would like them a little more harder, but I only think it's me that want that. Yeah.
No, that's good. That's good. Yeah. And very happy to have you over here. Congratulations on your orange jacket. How does it feel to be a part of that small group of incredible athletes?
This is some of the best. I love it. It was the goal to come over here is get to 100 miles. So it's so nice, and the jacket is just a big thing. Yeah.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Joe Rucco, Gainesville, New York.
And how was your World Toughest Mudder experience?
It was great. And first one, so that was exciting. But overall, it was awesome. They went in with a goal of 100 miles and didn't really care about placing or anything like that. I just wanted to shoot for 100 and put out a plan, made like a whole Excel spreadsheet and everything to try to get tracking times and all that. And just ended up being a really good weekend overall. So it was awesome. Yeah.
Now, there's some people that dream of 100 miles. How does it feel to get that on your first try?
Yeah, it's incredible, really. I mean, obviously there was a lot of training that went into it and everything, and this was the race that I trained for all year, right? And I did the Infinity and the toughest in Pennsylvania as kind of test weekends. At the toughest, I did the Unholy as well to try and get, okay, can I hit this type of mileage in that amount of time? And that really gave me a lot of confidence coming in here. But it's crazy. I mean, at 90 miles, I wanted to stop, and my pit crew wouldn't let me. And so that was the push that I needed. Went back out. When I finished 95, I knew I could do another one. And then they were like, well, third place is right there. Go get it. And I was like, all right, here we go.
It's amazing. So I'm good friends with Josh Fiore. So like selfishly, I'm like, I hope he doesn't catch him. But like, I'm just so glad that, I don't know, you just had an amazing race out there. How did what did you think of the penalties and the obstacles?
So I thought the obstacles were great. They were all really challenging, and I think that I like that for this type of event. I'll be honest, I only did 2 penalties, and they were both on twinkle toes. So I walked this way. For me, it wasn't that bad. It was a little short loop, but I looked at some of those penalties as I ran by, and I was like, oof, I hope I never have to hit any of those. So yeah, they were long.
One of the worst penalty by far, and I think it was like 2/3 of a mile, was the grappler, which is a weird, weird obstacle. How did you do with that one?
So there were a few times I got it on my last attempt, and I was sweating a bit on that. Yeah. But for the most part, I did okay. I used a little bit different technique than I think a lot of people did. A lot of people were coiling like they do like a garden hose type of thing, and I just kind of did it more like an electrical wire of just like kind of feeding it to my own hand. And then just kind of swung the whole thing underhand and over the top. And so it ended up like kind of shooting itself like way farther than it needed to, but I was able to like kind of pull it back into the slot. So it worked out. Nice. Yeah.
And who are some people you had fun sharing the course with? I know I talked to Matt Gill, who brought you up.
Yeah, so Matt Gill for sure. We spent the first 50 miles together. And then he came back and caught me when he came back out later in the race and helped pace me on the last lap, which helped a lot. But I spent time with, oh gosh, so many people. Corey Peak is one that I want to shout out because he and I were walking for a little bit together when I was at, I think, 85 or 90, something like that. We kind of ran together a little bit. But there were so many people that I chatted with along the way. It's hard, and names are gone by the time I'm here at this point. So I apologize to all those people. I'd love to call out their names, but yeah, there's so many people.
And describe the feeling, and also another unfair question. Describe the feeling of crossing the finish line with that 100 mile. I got that video of you. It looked like a lot of emotion there.
Oh yeah, tons of emotion. I mean, like I said, this was the race for me this year, and I wanted to do it last year. That was the original plan. I have a 10-month-old at home, and so he was born in December of last year, and the whole point last year was to do this, but November was a no-fly zone for me, just in case. So, coming out this year, being able to get it done, all the training, dad stuff that I got to do and getting up early, it was huge. Exactly. So it was huge. And I mean, I put it all out there. I saw Josh, at the end, and I spent everything to try to get him and cross the finish line, and having these guys there, my pit crew with me, it was amazing. It was awesome.
Well, I'm so proud of you. You did amazing. Congratulations. What else do you have planned for the rest of the year, next year? Do you have anything else planned? Or?
This year, I think this is it for this year. You're going to kind of take some time off. I like to lift weights as well, so I'll probably get back into that a little bit. Lost a bunch of weight coming into this with all the running, so get back into that a little bit more. And then next year, probably come back here. It's probably going to be the A race for next year as well. So, yeah.
Looking forward to seeing you there, man. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
My name is Kyle, but people around these parts call me Coach. I'm from Tahoe.
And how was your World's Toughest Mudder experience?
I guess one word would be magical.
You said that last year, and I love it. It's stuck with me. You're a big producer of magic up on the stage, you and your buddy out there. How was Coach's Corner for you?
It was pretty much exactly what I wanted it to be. It was amazing. It was a spot that you could come, you can energize and whatnot, but this year we put a little twist in there. And we took away your senses, and we made it a little bit more challenging. I wanted people to hang out longer in Coach's Corner. Last year was a little bit of a breeze and walk through, and I felt like I wanted to give you your bang for your buck. So we threw a cargo net in there, made that challenging, and then smoked it out and threw some strobe lights in and made you think you might die for a second. But, ultimately it's an obstacle, and it's an obstacle race, and fear is part of it. And, at the end of that, you came out of there and you felt alive. Like something happened, and we put ourselves into stressful situations and places all the time and come out of them feeling better. And you talk about cold exposure being one of those, and people are all into it. It's a trendy thing to do right now, is set yourself into a very stressful situation and then, breathe through it, And so there's a perfect example of a situation when we take away your vision and then that overwhelm your senses is slow down, focus on your breath, focus on your breathing. I can feel the ropes. I can get through this. And yes, you can, and absolutely can. Nobody died. A lot of people thought they might, but I thought it was rad. It was really what I was going for, in all honesty.
So I heard some people talking about it last year, and they were saying that this year was much, much better. I specifically walked over there and tried to dance with you for 3 hours. It was that boost that I needed in the middle of the night. I really appreciated it. The smoke, the lasers, I thought it was top notch.
Yeah, we pushed the production value, which made a humongous difference. We had an awesome team come out from Dallas and set that whole thing up. And I called around to a lot of places, and I found a professional that understood my vision, and he knew his craft, and he helped me put it together. It really was, this whole thing was a bit of a vision, but then it's a combination of visions from a ton of different people. It took us so much work from a lot of different people. TMHQ really worked hard on helping put the structure together. We had professional sound and lighting do that part of it. Anthony, the Tornado Tory, dances all night, but he also keeps the smoke machines running and everything going. So when I could just play music and send out good vibes, that was the whole thing. So it's a huge team effort. Tons of people come together to make it happen, and everyone that's doing it really loves what they're doing. So we're going to continue to bring it, and we're going to continue to bring it bigger and better. And you're really never going to know what you're going to get inside of there. But I do honestly give you, you will expect good energy and good vibes as you leave there. That's what we want to do.
And if you need some more than good energy, they had good caffeine. Shout out to your buddies over there.
Yeah. Well, this year, Immortal was a big part, and Immortal's out of SoCal. They make a nitro coffee that's super good and all organic and has some adaptogens and whatnot in it. And so we were serving that up in the middle of the race. And, I kind of went off my past experience of racing World's Toughest Mudder to where every time I was in the pits, having a hot cup of coffee was unbelievable. And I was figuring bringing the quality cup of coffee into the middle of a race course is exactly what people needed, and that pick me up. We do want to push ourselves, right? And we do want to do hard things, but hey, let's have some fun with it, and let's enjoy the experience too. Ultimately, at the end of the time, this is all for fun, I think.
All for fun, and yet you still got a pretty cool award today. How does it feel?
Unbelievable. I love this event. I love this community. I say it a lot at the start speeches that I believe that Tough Mudder is more than just an event. It is the people that are a part of it, and I don't know, to have such a crazy award is I don't know. It feels amazing. I guess I'm honored.
And you also had some pretty big shoes to fill at the start line. And I also wanted to say that you did amazing there too. It was all of the fun and good vibes that we would expect from you.
Yeah, I think, yeah, well, thank you for that. I ultimately, like, Sean has been the start guy for every time I've run a Worlds and every Worlds up to this point. He was unable to make it this year, and I spoke with him quite a bit beforehand about it, and because, it is a big deal, and I wanted to talk to him, and he said he would rather no other person do it other than myself. So with I guess that backing or that pat on the back or that blessing that I was 100% honored. It's no place I'd rather stand is in front of like such a great group of human beings about to take on an incredible adventure, because I want to see people push themselves. I want to see people challenge themselves, and I want to see people have a freaking good time while they do it.
Yeah. Well, thanks for doing what you do as always. Thanks for taking the time to talk to me, and happy early birthday.
I appreciate you, man. Have a great day.
I am Chris Maltbie, and I am from New Jersey.
And I'm Jen Mizono, and I'm from California.
How was your World Toughest Mudder experience?
It was awesome. Great weather, really great competition. We had exciting races on both the men's and women's side, and a lot of great feedback. That it was one of the hardest events we've had in a long time.
I think it was a bit of a whirlwind going from, 8 a.m. on site to 3 p.m. after the next day, and I was really happy. I think there's so much work that goes into it, and at times you can feel crazy, but the results are all worth it. Austin and Chris being on the podium is amazing. They're amazing human beings and so worthy of kind of taking first place. And it makes you pause and just think all the craziness is worth it.
Not looking to pry, but just looking for, a lot of people were a little worried. I'm sure you guys were worried too about, the obstacles being here and stuff like that. What was it like for TMHQ to deal with that?
Well, it's the way the events industry goes a lot of the time. But, for World's Toughest, obviously, as planners, we love to be ready well in advance. It was down to the wire, but we've got an amazing team. We knew they'd work around the clock to get it going if we needed to. In the end, it all came together.
Yeah. What was the stress like for you?
Stressful, the voice of the operation and the brains of the operation here. But really, I think that our staff is so smart and agile, and it's just like the event, right? You can't plan if all of a sudden your shoelaces go or whatever might happen, and our team is really great at saying, hey, there's 20-degree weather and wind, but we're going to have a plan. A trailer's late, but we're going to have a plan, and just being able to adapt and make sure that the race was ready to start at 12 was amazing.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to give you guys credit for, because this is not an easy event to put on. Clearly, I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but it's very impressive that you were able to do this. You also spoke about increasing the difficulty of penalties. How do you think that went?
Well, I think we succeeded with that as the goal. But, I was really pleased. It's so interesting. We talk to all of the athletes throughout the event, and we get feedback in real time. And I think the thing I heard most commonly was that it was incredibly hard, and that made the achievements worthwhile. Right. So handing out 50-mile bibs, 75-mile bibs, those runners ran way more miles than that. Maybe they've gotten those bibs before, but this year they told us was the most meaningful because they had to work that much harder to earn it. And that's what it's all about. It's not about making the event easy enough that everyone can hit a perceived achievement. It's that they work so hard that it was all worth it. And that's ultimately what brings people back next year, even when they're beaten up, even when it was super hard, that they feel like they achieved something and found out something about themselves. And I think we did really great at helping to deliver that.
And then as the brains, what went into choosing the obstacles?
Oh, the brain, this is the brain that chooses the obstacles.
Okay.
So, yeah, I always try to think about it as a participant, right? You want unique obstacles that also test, a variety of strengths and skills. We want the mental obstacles out there. We want stuff that's harder than we have at a normal event, and just, to keep things interesting. So, I was quite happy for electricity. I always feel for World's Toughest, I don't want it to be random chance. I want it to be skill-based. I want all of the sort of physical achievement obstacles to just be a slight twist on them so that they reward people who have come really well prepared and that are really well-rounded. And like we had talked about already, really tough penalties, so that anyone who does manage to overcome those obstacles is rewarded for that. It was amazing. We were talking to Austin at the finish line. He said he did 2 penalties the entire race on really hard obstacles. And when we look at that and we see that Austin got 105 miles, I said already, earlier, I didn't think anyone would hit 100 at all at this race. Right. It just goes to show if you come prepared for those obstacles, that's where that separation comes from. That's why he was way out in front for first place, because he could do them. He's really adaptable, and he was able to overcome.
It's always finding that balance of you want it to be a punishing course because you don't come here for an easy race, but also finding that balance where you don't want everyone getting an orange jacket. So did you guys have a moment in time, maybe early on, when people were going really fast, where you thought like, oh crap, more people are going to get it? Or?
So it's really interesting, right? Everyone says the race doesn't start until midnight, and I think that's true. So, I remember from my years running the race, you don't even think about mileage at the beginning of it. You just go out and you start hitting your laps, and you try to stick to your plan, and you just go. So we were watching, we were really curious. It was probably around midnight when we were looking at the leaderboard, and we were figuring out, then you've got enough data when you're looking at the athletes. How fast are they going? Whose times are already dropping off, and who's keeping pace? So we had a sense that it was probably achievable. And then by the next morning, we saw, especially Austin, how quick he was going. We knew he'd have more than enough time, and that the other 4 folks that got it were pacing well, and they'd have just enough time to get out for that grace period, that last hour and a half. And so we knew then they were all running faster than an hour and a half per lap already. So we knew they'd have enough time to finish it up. So really great to see. Super interesting. I think the most shocking thing of all, again, was Michael taking second place, having slept overnight, and we all thought he dropped out of the race with an injury. Popped back up and started ripping laps just over an hour. And we were it was fascinating. It was such a cool race to watch, not even to direct, but just to watch as he climbed back up and retook with those laps after laying down for the night.
And at risk of earning that sarcastic headband of being the race director, there were only a couple things that I noticed on course. What happened with Operation not having like the nails driven through? It was just the pole when I was there.
I will say, I don't know.
Totally fair. And then the penalty for dingleberries when it opened up was a little bit of a shit show. I think that's the only real critique I have with that.
Yeah, so one of the hard things with Worlds, but ultimately worth it, is we do so much that's unique. That's the builds, that's the penalties, that's all of that we don't have the luxury like we have with building Everest 30 times a year. So we shoot high, and then we try to adapt if we have to. What we found was dingleberries. We knew it was going to be a really hard obstacle, but what we found very quickly was that meant the penalty was being overrun, and trying to do something a little bit more unique out there with that volume of people coming to the penalty just becomes difficult. So our course team, amazing job. They quickly radioed it into us, suggested some modifications to it. We were able to change it up so we could keep that flowing throughout the night. And that's what the race is all about. For the athletes and for us, adapting to what's going on. You never know when you're going to get a sandstorm. You don't know when the temperature is going to drop. You don't know when an obstacle or a penalty is going to start functioning differently than you planned. So you make an adjustment and you keep going with the race.
I just remember getting there and I saw 2 scales and 30 people. I'm like, oh, this math isn't mathing. But final thoughts. I guess we'll do letter grade since we did recently. How do you feel like the event went? Jason?
I'll let Jen give the letter grade. I feel like...
Well, I'm going to give it an A- because there's always room for improvement. But overall, there's just things you can't predict. And I think there's pieces like who ended up on the podium and how good the competition was that you really can't. We can't change that, right? That's it's going to happen. What's going to happen? Chris and I stayed up through the entire night, no naps or anything, and I think that it was awesome. We had a good time at the race center. The team did a fantastic job. Everyone was safe. Yes. Everyone was happy. Everyone felt really proud. A-.
Well, I just want to thank you again for putting on a great event. It's worth coming from wherever you're coming from, and looking forward to seeing you guys next time in Florida.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Welcome back.
Thank you to everyone that took the time to talk to me both on and off the mic. Sorry if I didn't have too much time to talk during the brunch. This is some of the most stressful times for the podcast because it's a race against time for getting interviews before the presentations. It's also difficult to track who's going to the bar crawl and who can I interview later. So it's difficult. There's a lot of people that I missed. For related episodes, ooh boy, we're just going to do the numbers again. 45, 46, 97, 98, 150, 151, 152, 201, 254, 255, 256, 257, 305, 307, 308, 356, 358 are all World's Toughest Mudder episodes. I'm also going to shout out episode 177 of I Am a Spartan. Scott had Stefanie Bland on the show, who I missed at brunch. Overall, it's a great show and a really good episode. Also, congrats on the age group win, Scott.
I saw he got first place.
Yeah. Links down below, so would you kindly check those out?
Subscribe and follow wherever you get your podcasts, and most importantly, leave us a review.
Yeah. And more than anything, if you could share the show with a friend, though, that would be hugely helpful.
Follow us on social media. We are on Instagram, Threads, and Facebook at Obstacle Running Adventures.
I keep forgetting about Threads. I did not keep up well with that. You can also support us for as little as $2, as many as $10 over on patreon.com. We didn't get caught up with the thank you cards, but we got to work on that soon too. Coming up next, part 3, which is interviews from the bar crawl, where I may have gotten a bit drunk, as I mentioned earlier.
You got drunk? No way.
It's not often. It is not often.
I just made it sound like you're drunk all of the time.
It's not often, but it also doesn't take much.
That's what I mean.
Yes.
That's what I mean.
Yes.
Not that you're drunk all the time. You're rarely drunk.
No. Caitlin, do you have a joke or a quote?
I've got both. My quote is from Craig Crippen. You are being presented with a choice, evolve or remain. If you choose to remain unchanged, you will be presented with the same challenges, the same routines, the same storms, the same situations until you learn from them, until you love yourself enough to say no more until you choose change. If you choose to evolve, you will connect with the strength within you. You will explore what lies outside the comfort zone. You will awaken to love. You will become and you will be. You have everything you need. Choose to evolve.
Nice. And your joke.
I have a string of Thanksgiving themed jokes.
Okay, let's see if I can remember the answer to one of them.
How did the Pilgrims bring their cows to America?
How?
The moo flower. What always comes at the end of Thanksgiving?
What?
The letter G.
You could save some for future weekends.
This is our last weekend before Thanksgiving.
Oh, Jesus. Oh my God, really?
What did the turkeys say to the turkey hunter?
Oh, Bakok?
Quack, quack.
Same element.
What animal says bakok?
A chicken. Bakok.
What?
What noise would you say a chicken makes?
Cluck, 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 cluck.
But they all, like, when they verbalize, it's bakok. Right?
I guess.
Yeah. That should be our poll of the week next time. Is a bakok or cluck, cluck. Awesome. Well, that just about wraps it up. My name is Michael Stefano.
My name's Kaylin Ritter.
And we'll talk to you next week.
Bye.
Thank you for listening.
If you've enjoyed this episode, please leave a review
or reach out to us on social media at Obstacle Running Adventures.
Don't forget to subscribe
so you can stay up to date with our latest episodes.
Please be sure to share our show with a friend
so we can reach more ears and more effectively continue to shine a light on the people in our sport,
as well as the events we are so passionate about.
Our intro song is Streaker by Straight Up.
And our outro music is Iron Paw by The Best.
OCR Buddy took over Mud Run's OCR championship award things.
Do you want to try that again? Mud Run Guides?
Mud Run Guides. what's it called?
Like the best of OCR.
The best of OCR Community Choice Awards.
Okay, I can't use any of that.
Go ahead.
Nope.
OCR Buddy took over Mud Guide Runs.
No, just stop. Okay. We're just gonna get the Mud Run Guide.
Mud Run Guide. That's what I said.
You said Mud Guide Run. This is post credit stuff for sure. All right, let me find the next news story.
Yeah, don't let that get to my head.
When we did the last one for the Dallas Spartan.
Okay, yeah.
We called out my name on that one, and so it was
awesome.
Like, oh, okay, I gotta listen now.
Love it.
Timber abandoned us.
That's for the best.